Hi, and welcome along to F1 race day here on Off Circuit on the DR Sports channel. We got Matty in the building.
Come on, mate.
And we are looking forward to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix today. And Matty, this is exciting, this race today.
Sheesh.
This is the infamous race, by the way, from last year when Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen battled it out. And we had that big crash right near the end.
Yeah, with the brake. The brake testing for this one. It wasn't the last race.
Sorry. Yeah, the brake testing race.
Yeah, and we had the red flags and all the restarts. And God, it was mad.
It was.
I mean, first of all, Robbie, I've been asking our off-circuit family on Instagram this morning how many red flags we're predicting. I've never done a prediction based on red flags before, and we said 1, 2, or more. 75% of people felt it'd be more than 2 red flags in this race today.
Jeez, a lot of stoppages.
Carnage.
A lot of stoppages for crashes, and we've already had a big crash in qualifying. Mick Schumacher,
yeah,
that was a massive crash.
Thank God he's all right, first and foremost. It was looking touch and go for a minute. You know, he didn't actually climb out of the car under his own strength. They had to pull him out of the car, which is very rare to see that. Straight into an ambulance, straight into a helicopter and away to hospital. It was good to see him post a selfie as well of himself, you know, to be like, listen, I'm okay. He's not able to race today. They couldn't get the car, you know, on track, but you know, he'll definitely be back for Australia in 2 weeks.
How brave are these guys that you'll have a crash like that and he's actually looking to race again?
Yeah,
you know?
and not just those, you know, I mean, it's one thing for Schumacher to get back in the car, but, you know, we're talking 10 minutes after you see that helicopter take off and, you know, they clear the track and do all that. The rest of the guys, we're only halfway through qualifying, so they had to get in the car, push it to the very limits. Yeah, off you go, crack on.
But we've got a massive story today because Sergio Perez on pole in the race.
Wow.
His first ever pole.
Yeah.
His first ever pole in Formula One. He's been racing for quite a long time.
He has.
But his first ever pole.
It's actually a record. He is the driver who has waited the longest in his entire F1 career for his first career Formula One pole position. I'm made up for him, Robbie. I think if I just go back to the end of that 2020 season, the weird COVID year, you know, that was a moment where the Strolls had very much come in. It was just before they renamed the team to Aston Martin. And, you know, he's basically gone, well, I'm going to keep my son. And I tell you what, fuck Perez off. We'll bring in Sebastian Vettel. And Perez was left with no seat. So for Christian Horner to actually scoop him up and take him to Red Bull, I'm just made up that, you know, that could have been the end of Sergio Perez's career. We look now, he's going to be on pole position. He's going to be up there as part of the title battle this year with Max Verstappen and the Ferraris, if the Red Bull's going to be reliable this year, which we're thinking now it will be. So, yeah, I'm made up for Perez. Great.
Yeah, let me just remind everybody, in case you don't know, of the lineup for the race. So it is Sergio Perez on pole. Leclerc, he is in second place on the grid in the Ferrari, of course, the winner of last week's race, and his teammate Carlos Sainz in third. So another strong, you know, strong qualifying for the Ferraris.
Massively so. And I mean, let's not forget as well, Charles Leclerc led in free practice 1, 2 and 3 and had provisional pole until that incredible last-ditch lap from Sergio Perez. So Charles Leclerc by no means is out of this race. He is absolutely looking like he's got some real pace here in Jeddah. So I'm looking forward to seeing that race start and how, you know, Max will fare from fourth there. But the 2 Ferraris in between the 2 Red Bulls, if anything, Robbie, makes this one of the spicier starts that we've seen for a little while.
Max Verstappen, as you just said, in fourth.
Yeah.
Ocon in fifth.
Great for the Alpines.
Yeah, brilliant for the Alpines again. George Russell in sixth place, out qualifying Lewis Hamilton. Alonso in seventh.
Yeah.
Bottas eighth. Gasly ninth. Magnussen 10th. Norris in 11th. Zhu in 12th. Stroll 13th. 14th, Ricardo had some penalties. Couple of grid place penalties taking him down a bit. Lewis Hamilton in 15th place. Yes, Lewis Hamilton in 15th place on the grid. We'll come back to that in a minute. Albon 16th, Hulkenberg 17th, Latifi in 18th, Tsunoda in 19th, and we just saw he might struggle to even qualify because his car's already broken down.
Yeah, literally on the out lap, just not even the formation lap, just the out lap to get to the grid before the formation, he's already had a mechanical failure.
So he's got problems. And of course, Mick Schumacher will not race. So no Mick Schumacher in the race. Talk to me about Lewis Hamilton. What went wrong? His worst qualifying, I think, Worst ever.
In my mind, that's what I said all yesterday on the stream. Now, statistically, if we remove any form of mechanical failures, so DNFs or anything like that, it's his worst performance since 2009, Robbie. Jeez. Now, he only made his debut in 2007, so we're talking this incredible 7-time world champion has got such a great record when it comes to qualifying. 2017 was the last time he was eliminated in Q1, and that was a mechanical failure. It's just unheard of. And all I can say on this one, you know, people have asked me a lot, but seriously though, why? Why was he eliminated? What happened? What happened? And all I can say is, it just wasn't good enough on the day. It feels strange coming out of my mouth that Lewis Hamilton, he just wasn't good enough. But he was 2/3 of a second slower than George Russell.
That he's that far down on the grid.
That far down. Now, he came out and said, listen, I just couldn't deal with the bouncing. I couldn't handle, you know, the car and how it was performing and things. And you go, cool. Well, listen, George Russell managed 4th in Q1. You know, he was right up there on the time. So we were all expecting, it was a foregone conclusion really, that as Lewis was on that final hot lap, you go, okay, not brilliant from him, but yeah, he'll get out of the bottom 5 and he'll be somewhere in the top 10. And then Lance Stroll, of all people, Robbie, comes through and eliminates him, drops him down to P16 again. So
crazy.
Yeah, it's such a fantastic time to be a Formula One fan right now.
Does he have the capability? Well, we know he has the capabilities to work his way through the field. But this is a track where, you know, like you said, there can be lots of accidents. I mean, there is a chance for him to work his way up the field, isn't there?
There is, but there's an equal chance of him to get caught up in some mayhem that's unavoidable in the middle of the field. The problem with the track here at Jeddah, and you can call it either a positive or a negative if you don't want to see, you know, the collisions and the carnage here, is anything can happen in that midfield. And all it takes is someone, you know, somewhere between the top 4 that will pull away and have a bit of clean running space. But the next 10 cars down, if a collision or something happens with one of the more inexperienced drivers, you know, Lewis Hamilton could be tripped up and out of this race before he even starts. So Mercedes are going to be very concerned that Lewis is starting so far back. And I would imagine, because of the experience that Lewis has, there's no runoff areas on this track, Robbie. The barriers are very close to the side of the track. They are the side of the track. I think Lewis, if anything, is going to be told, bide your time today, Lewis. Pull back if you need to pull back.
I saw in qualifying, I saw both Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. Literally, when they show you, you could see like the camera.
Oh, amazing, innit?
Above their car. And you just saw their helmets just going dum 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 dum. That car is bouncing up and down.
Yeah.
Terribly,
like a rock concert. It's like a mosh pit in there.
Yeah,
really
they have not solved that at all, have they?
No.
It's still a serious problem for them.
It is, and they've done something different, and we know that they were changing the setup of the car, and actually one of the things now that we're hearing out the Mercedes camp is perhaps they decided to do something different between Lewis's car and George's car, which is why George Russell didn't struggle quite as much. We understand, I don't know how true that is. There were rumours, Robbie, that Lewis might look at changing the way he sets up his car and starting from the pit lane. You know, take the penalty, start in the pit lane, out of trouble. I understand he's not doing that. He's going to start from P15 today, and we're just going to see whether he can move his way through the grid. Okay,
we said watching Sonoda at the moment, running down the track, maybe.
We know he doesn't like to run as well, Robbie. He's a guy who doesn't like to run.
So probably getting back to his car to be able to start the race.
I hope they can. Yeah. You know, I'm not expecting he's going to really make some moves and move through the field today, but I hope that they can at least get the car on the grid and get him racing today.
Yeah, I'm a blue dabba-dee with a super chat here. He says, no red flag in F2 today. Mick Schumacher was fine. He said he just lost radio communications with the team and feels nothing today and wanted to race.
Yeah.
Rebecca Challenger says, come on, Lewis.
Oh, come on, Rebecca.
And I'm a blue dabba-dee. Another super chat here. He says, Hamilton fanboys in the mud, Robbie. Don't you ever dare compare the guy that starts 16th to Schumi again. Red Bull who? Red Bull gives you wings.
Oh, big ups, man. Big ups.
It is the first time he's ever done that. Like, literally, like you said, and this has been a DNF. So the guy is allowed to have an off day. He's allowed to have a bad day.
Of course he is. And you know something? It's fantastic for all of us as Formula One fans, Robbie, that we're seeing this kind of thing come in now. We don't want to see the same 1 or 2 drivers up there taking every pole, taking every race win. You know, we want to see more of what we saw in Brazil. Lewis coming through from the back and making his way through the field. I am, however, a bit of a realist. I called it in Brazil. I said he'd come through and he'd win the race. You called me a madman. In fact, you asked what I've been drinking. I called it last week and said I think he can get a sneaky third place on the podium. And again, people called me a madman.
All right, what are you saying today, and then what you calling now?
If he can get top 6, Robbie, I think he'd be very, very happy with that. And that's his lot. I can't see him disrupting the Red Bulls and the Ferraris today. Not unless some crazy carnage happens, which could happen here at Jeddah today.
We could see it.
But
we could see it. I mean, I don't... Listen, all praise, you know what I mean? We say our praise to whichever God, right? To make sure that there's no terrorist attacks or anything like that, because that's the other thing. A missile landing, 7 miles away from where the track was?
Yeah.
And they had to have that big meeting to decide whether they even went ahead with the race. And I saw Max Verstappen, even when he was qualifying, he said he could smell a burning.
Yeah.
He was asking, he goes, I can smell burning, I can smell burning.
During practice.
During practice.
Yeah.
And they were like, nothing's wrong with the car, the burning's from because the missile had hit like an oil plant or something, hadn't it?
Yeah, literally targeted the oil plant.
Terrible.
I mean, I know we're not really getting at the politics side, but there seems to be a level of hypocrisy that's got to be looked at. That Russia's had its complete contract cancelled. We'll never race in Russia, certainly in the next few years again. And here we are in Saudi Arabia with fresh calls for should we be here? Is this really is it safe? And for me, that's a two-pronged argument. Is it safe? From the sort of the political and the terrorism and the missile strike and everything going on there. But then you look at, what's happening on track, the amount of red flags, the fact that you can't clear, even when a crash does happen, you can't clear it and get it out of the way. You have to stop the race, and you've got to take all of that into account and say, should we be racing in Saudi Arabia next year and the year after? And honestly, Robbie, people are 50-50 split on this. We've got people saying, yes, of course we should. That's part of racing. And we want to see, we don't want to see injuries, but we want to see things that can shake things up a bit. And other people who say, no, actually, and I think my 2 cents on it, Robbie, is, taking away all of the sort of bravado and everything, red flags are boring for everybody. They have to be used from a safety point of view.
But then you need different types of tracks, though, as well. You don't every track's just the same old. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
So and they've tried.
This track throws up a different challenge.
It does, and they've tried
their best. And I love a night
to,
race as well.
Me too, and they've tried their best to make this so exciting. It's got a bank corner, we've got tight corners, we've got fast corners. It's supposed to be the perfect blend of all of the racetracks from around the world. And I do think that they, on paper, have delivered that, but practically now, it's looking and saying, when there is an incident like Mick Schumacher's, is he okay? Yes, he is. But then can we clear the track and get racing again quickly? And that might be something that I'd like to see them at least look at if we're going to come back next year, is what's your recovery plans? Can we make it that the barriers can lift and we can sweep away? Like what is it that we can do to do that?
Bill says, I heard a rumour that if drivers had not chose to race, they wouldn't be allowed to leave the country. Any truth in this? Well, that's what you was just talking about.
Yeah, so actually, again, it's difficult to find a proper source for that. I don't think that's been written down anywhere. But one of the team principals was interviewed by a member of the Sky Sports team and said, can you shed any light on that? And the team principal said, I can't comment on that. But it was something that applied to the drivers, not the entire teams. But that's a scary thing, Robbie, when you start,
By the way, that track looks amazing. Lit up at night time. They're doing a little light show on it at the moment. It looks absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
It must be incredible to be there right now. It's right by the sea as well.
Some of our own are as well. Chunks and Philly, they've been invited out there.
Lucky Chunks. Right.
What are we doing wrong, Robbie? What are we doing wrong?
Rebecca says, will we hear Bono say the magic words this season? Lewis, it's hammer time.
Rebecca, I hope
not
so.
Today.
Rebecca's a day oneer from off circuit. I know, big Lewis fan as well. I don't know, Rebecca. I'm worried for Lewis today. I really am. I think, aside from the fact that he's got a lot of work and ground to make up, as I said, starting where he is at risk of being tripped up, so...
I'm a Blue Dabadai says, need to talk about K.mag. Never driven the track before, not even a simulator, and gets a P10. And finished P5 in Bahrain, no simulator.
Yeah.
Just pure skill in a Haas.
Just pure skill and a fantastic Ferrari engine. We can't forget that.
Right on cue, they're talking to him there on the TV.
Yeah, come on, K.mag.
Krasnos says, hope the Red Bull do not favour Verstappen over Perez. Last year it made sense. Now let them race. Now me and you were chatting about this just before we came on here, right? If it's a 1-2, do they say, what's that? How's that song say? yo, get out the way.
Yeah, get out the way, bitch. Get out the way.
You know what I mean?
Move.
Is it move? Is it move out the way and let Verstappen through, or will they let Perez get a win if he's in that position?
Let me be as clear as I can be on this. At this stage in the season, bearing in mind that neither scored any points last week and Perez earned pole position today, I would be fucking appalled if they asked Perez to move out of Max's way for a 1-2. Perez would deserve, if he is in the lead, to go ahead and win this one with Max in second place.
What you said last
but
week,
I don't even think we're going to get to that.
Max being the number one earner, number one, all those things.
Absolutely right. But at the moment, anyway, I don't think even Horner himself can be in a position this early on when there's no points on the board. They can't say, well, Max might score the more points. It might be that Perez is going to go on and have an amazing few weeks. However, before we even get into team orders there, the big important thing that everybody must remember, there are two very fast Ferraris in between Max and Perez. Yeah. Max has got a lot of work to do to clear Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz today. And let me tell you, Robbie, they are not going to be in any mood to let him by. It's going to be a battle from start to finish. And Charles Leclerc proved to me last week in Barcelona, he has got big enough balls to keep Max behind him this year. So
okay.
It's big.
By the way, listen, to everybody watching today, don't forget to like the video. We've got 1,000 of you already.
Come on.
Involved. Right, so keep it, keep all of those comments coming through. Want to hear from as many as you right throughout the race. M. Dissa says, let's go, George. Marcus Butcher says, a Red Bull 1-2 incoming, please. Mr. C says, Carlos going to come in and snatch the win. Gareth says, Don Robbie with the special guest, Luke Ayling. You're Luke Ayling now.
I'm happy with that, so long as it's not like Shania Twain or something like that, I'll take Luke Ayling. Or David Seaman Jr., I get that quite a bit.
Nick Nash says, count Lewis Hamilton out at your peril. Tsunoda not racing, apparently. But I think Tsunoda, he looked like he's running back to his car,
Yeah.
Ahmed says, the Ferrari Red Bull making Lewis cry. Lewis not off to a great start, but although he did, let's not forget he scored points last week.
So this is all about damage limitation, and I was telling the guys on stream for qualifying yesterday, Mercedes couldn't hope for anything better last week. The fact that they know that their car is third fastest means they can hope for 5 and 6. So to finish third and fourth last week is like amazing, for those guys last week. And I think, again, it's about damage limitation today. If George Russell can get 5th, if Lewis can get 6th, then actually that's a great result for Mercedes today, and they live to fight another day.
Especially when you remember that Red Bull scored no points last week.
Exactly right. Yeah.
That's to be quite significant as well. Rebecca Challenger says, will the Hulk to bits today and get himself a seat for next year? Bring back the Hulk.
Yeah, I think she's saying, will he do bits today?
Will he do bits today?
Yeah, listen, I mean, he did manage to out-qualify Lance Stroll last time out, and then obviously it didn't quite go according to plan during the race. I really hope that the Hulk can get a permanent seat back in Formula One. I'm just worried for him. I don't know where that's going to happen when we've got some of the young and up-and-coming guys coming, and I'm sure there's some billionaire juniors in the wings somewhere looking to buy their way in after Mazepin has left a void there, so...
Ryan's YT says, tell Robbie the story about Leclerc's Leclerc.
I don't know. I've seen this.
Godfather.
I don't know it. Ryan, you're going to have to fill us in, man. Fill us in. I want to know.
Lando for the win, says Sakul. He's a bit too far back there.
I'm not so sure that McLaren... Listen, they look a lot better than they did last week, qualifying 11th and 12th before Danny Rick got his little penalty there. It's definitely better than last time, but, again, Alpine looked to have recovered a little bit. Haas looks strong. Alfa Romeo looks strong. I'm worried, Robbie, that McLaren are looking probably 7th, maybe even 8th fastest constructor out of 10 this year.
Don says, big up to Matt. He's taught me a lot about the sport so far.
Oh, come on, Don.
And Louis says, Ocon for the podium today.
Yeah, few people have shouted that out. It's interesting, Robbie. Last year, Alpine had a pretty great year, actually, on the surface of things. We know that they've got a great driver line-off with Ocon, and Alonso. Otmar Saf has come in as a team principal. It all looked great. But then we were told right before the season started, they're going to have a terrible year this year. They had a few failures. We had brakes bursting into flames and things during the pre-season testing. So everybody told us that Alpine are going to struggle this year. They came out of nowhere yesterday, Robbie, with an amazing performance. Are they 5th and 7th on the grid today or something? I'd love to see Ocon on the podium.
Let's get your predictions anyway. We're about 10 minutes away from the start of the race.
Lewis to
you haven't
win.
had your prediction, and also, can we also in the what'd you say, Lewis to win?
Yeah, Lewis to win. That's we're on the buds today.
Stay off of those, right? Right, and I thought my train of thought's gone. No, that's what I was going to say. Let's get a poll up. So you guys can vote on what you think's going to happen. Matt.
Okay, top three I think we should do, podium prediction.
Top three, our podium.
I'm going with Charles Leclerc to win the race. I'd love to see Perez do it. I really would from pole position. I think it'd be great. But I think Charles Leclerc looks really, really strong. So I'm going with Charles Leclerc to win it. I'm going with Sergio Perez to take second place. And I'm going with Carlos Sainz to stay where he is in third place. So I know it's not the most wild, outlandish prediction, but that's not what it's always about. So Charles Leclerc, Perez, Sainz. Talk us through it, Robbie. What you say?
Right, I'm going Leclerc as well. I just got a feeling it. Perez. No. Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz.
Okay.
No, hold on, wait.
So you don't think, I was thinking you were going to go like Max second, Perez third because they're swapped round. But you think actually Perez could end up just dropping off the podium completely?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, could crash.
Yeah, Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz.
Interesting. All right. So we're both feeling like Ferrari have got two cars on the podium.
Ferraris are quick, man. Those Ferraris are quick.
We don't feel that George Russell's going to be there.
No.
For me, I've not put Max on the podium. Call it wishful thinking if you like. I just don't know that we're going to see some incidents or something happening
Max
today.
Is going to be. Max is after last week.
You think he's
Max
coming? Yeah.
He's coming, roaring through. I think you're going to see Max right from the start take a couple of positions. Max Verstappen will be there. I think he's got a great shout to win it.
Yeah.
But I'm just slightly edging for Leclerc. I think it's going to be Leclerc or Max Verstappen is going to win this race. But we've got a poll on it at the moment, right? So you guys can vote on it. The four that we put up for the poll are Perez, Leclerc, Sainz or Verstappen. I do think the winner's going to probably come from one of those four.
Agreed.
Unless we have a load of crashes in the race. But yeah, I'm going for them. Yeah.
Oh, this is cool. Yeah, you can see it going. At the moment, Robbie, 47% are saying Leclerc. So almost half of the people feel like this is Leclerc's day.
Don Ben's got one. He said he's going for Trunks to run on the track and win the race.
Could Trunks get in that Haas? There's an empty Haas at the moment.
I don't think he'd be able to fit in that. Even though I see that, big him up, he's lost a lot of weight, but I don't think he'd be able to fit in that car. Rebecca Challenger is going Leclerc first, Lewis
Rebecca.
second,
Bold.
Sainz to come in third, Max to crash out.
Rebecca is
Lewis
so
Hamilton
bold.
in third.
She
loves Lewis. No chance Lewis coming in third.
Hey, listen, last time you said no chance was Brazil last year, Robbie. You said
not this
no
time.
chance.
Not this time, man. The cars are a bit different as well.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't last year's car, that's for sure.
Although these cars do allow for more overtakes and stuff like that, though. And
listen, if there's a massive pile-up and then we have another restart, Lewis could be straight up there.
He gets dragged into the pack and you can't write him off still, That's the thing about him. That's the thing about him.
F1 wins, Robbie. Week in, week out, F1 wins.
Yeah, definitely. Sib Summer says, big up off circuit. One of the best guests ever on this channel.
Come on.
Kratos says, Don, have some respect for Perez. He's showing skill. No, I've got a lot of respect for him. I kind of would love to see him win the race as well because his first Formula One win, his first ever pole.
It'd be amazing.
But I don't know, man. He's hungry after last week. He's hungry. He's itching. After last week, he's itching.
Yeah.
He's going to be up there. You see more Leclerc for me.
Yeah, I think we both, and clearly half the people in the poll as well, feel like Charles Leclerc, he's been so fast all weekend.
That car's been good, yeah. And he'll have the confidence from winning last week, but Verstappen's coming for him.
Absolutely.
He's coming. Ad size says, odds on the Red Bull reliability issues again. May not be a bad race for Lewis to start from behind. The carnage, red flags may present opportunities. Bit like what you were saying, Matty.
Yeah.
We haven't really touched on that. The Red Bull, of course, last week, both Red Bulls dropping out of the race.
Yeah.
We've seen already Sonoda's in the AlphaTauri, which is, again, Red Bull, the same type of, they run on the same engine, power unit, same sort of thing. That has already broken down. Could there be more issues? I mean, it's all right in qualifying, but now you've got to do those 50 laps. Could there be issues for the Red Bull again in reliability?
Yuki Tsunoda, car failed in qualifying, car failed right before the race. Pierre Gasly's car also had a mechanical failure in free practice 3 this weekend. And he's the guy who burst into flames last week out. These are both Red Bull powertrains. I am concerned for them. It seems to be that their one-lap pace and everything has been fine. They've been fine last week in all the practices, the qualifyings. It was towards the end of the race when it's been running for an hour and a half. So, yeah, time's going to tell. Red flags, to be honest, would probably help that because the Red Bull's not having to push and go all the way. I think, though, to be honest with you, the team that they've built at Red Bull, and we saw how good they were last year, they've surely got a handle on it. They've surely had some all-nighters this week and really looked at that car and seen what it was that caused the problem. I think it was a fuel pump issue causing the issue on Max's car.
German Munoz says, this guy knows his stuff. Thank you very much. Talking about me, right?
That's Robbie, yeah, obviously.
No, it's not me, it's you. Max is going to win the race, says Daniel Iqbal. Not Snow says he's going for Sainz first, Lewis second, Leclerc first. Boy, a lot of... No one's right. They're not writing Lewis off completely. They're not writing him off completely at the moment. Irish Gooner says Perez will lead from the start to finish. Mark my words.
Oh, it's a big race for somebody to lead start to finish, you know, with all the carnage that we expect to happen. I think that's one thing I'd say is not happening today. Perez still might win it, but I don't think we're going to see Perez lead start to finish. I think there's too much carnage.
We are 3 minutes away from the start of the race. I'm a blue Dabba-die. By the way,
he's back.
He sends in a lot of super chats. He's always following the channel. Big yourself up, man. Really, a lot of respect for you. Even though he's always cussing us off. Well, I've got a lot of respect for you, bro. Don't think there are going to be any red flags in this race. He said the F2, he said this before, didn't he? He said F2 race today and they didn't have any crashes. K.mag P5, Hamilton P17.
Oh, he wants him last. He
doesn't like Hamilton. He don't like Hamilton. And by the way, guys, don't forget, we are right on the verge of 200,000 subscribers on this channel, which is going to be a huge landmark for us in just slightly over a year. So listen, get us to those 200,000 subs.
If you haven't already, fam as well. Let's get on it.
Yeah, if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe to this channel. We bringing you the best F1 and Matty's channel as well. Subscribe. We're up on to 3,000 now.
Not yet. No, we're at about 2,600 or 2,700.
Right, the links in the description. Let's get Matty up onto 3,000.
Come on, let's get it.
Come on. Before the end of this show, we want to get Matty up onto the 3,000 mark.
Wow.
Right? So we are near to the start of the race. Only 2 minutes away. Lewis will finish 7th or 8th, says Joel Harris. Joshua says Lewis to do a madness and win Perez second and Leclerc in third. There's some people, they're really, I don't know, man. YMI says Perez to win it, Verstappen, and then Leclerc.
Okay, Red Bull 1-2, you can see it.
Yeah.
Actually, interestingly,
Jan Fuggy said he just subscribed. Thank you very much.
Oh, come on now.
And AS Beat says, hi, big man Robbie, back to supporting my G, Carlos Sainz.
I love that.
He started the season very well, Sainz.
Absolutely. Looked on track for pole position yesterday before Leclerc and then Perez came through.
Yeah. Nathan says Lewis to do a madness. Do you miss McLaren? Says Uinido.
Yeah, I feel like I miss last year's McLaren already, for sure.
Why are they struggling like this? What's wrong?
They've just got the car build all wrong. For me, the notable difference with that McLaren car, as we've talked about the side pods, Mercedes have got the car wrong clearly this year. They've gone for no side pods. McLaren clearly have got the car on this year. They've got the biggest side pods in the game. I think it's just down to build. They've taken some risks. It hasn't paid off. You know, and for me, like I say, I'd be amazed if they managed top 6 this year. Never mind challenging for 3rd place as they have done the last couple of years. Really sad to see them drop off.
Sib Salma says, as a Ferrari fan, I missed the glory days of Schumacher and Kimi Räikkönen, so I want Leclerc to continue doing well. Right, we are approaching the formation lap, and then we get, here we go for the formation lap. Cars pulling off.
I almost feel, Robbie, this would possibly, as a driver, be the bit that would make me the most nervous. Going out on a formation lap, you know it's all about to happen, sort of waving around, keeping your tyres warm and thinking, in 60 seconds time, we're about to fucking go for it. I'd be nervous there. How would you take that? Do you be all right on a formation lap?
I think I'll be all right on the formation lap. Is when
Is it the
it's when-
get-go,
It's
is
when
it?
you're sat there, like beyond, in those cars, and you're waiting for those lights to go out.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you've got to get your reaction time right.
Yeah.
You're thinking about strategy, and also you're thinking about, especially if you're not on pole. Well, if you're on pole, you're thinking about you're the hunted, so you're thinking about everyone who's going to try and do little manoeuvres to get past you. And if you're not, if you're in the middle of the field, at the back of the field, you're like, what's going to happen? Am I going to get through this?
Yeah.
Somebody could clip me. So, I mean, the start of the race is probably the most important part of it.
It literally can make or break your race, and we saw that quite a lot with Bottas last year, sadly, at Mercedes. It was the starts of the race that he just wasn't quite getting right, and it cost him a lot of places.
Yeah, DJ Ashby says,
come on,
Robbie,
DJ Ash.
I thought you'd be a VIP over in Saudi Arabia.
Me too, Robbie. I thought you'd have me there, as on your arm as your...
We nearly pulled it off last year, remember?
We really nearly did.
nearly, but not...
They obviously couldn't get all the chunks last year, and they thought, right, Matt and Robbie, let's have a couple of chunks instead.
We nearly did. Listen, we're going to pull off one this year, man.
Yeah.
Trust me. We're pulling off one.
At least.
Who's going to do the show?
We'll take it on the road.
Take it on the road.
Take it on the road.
Live from Monaco.
Yeah. Here we are on our phones.
Right, you can see there.
Robbie, these
Perez slowing things down.
I'm not even involved. I have slight butterflies at this moment every single time. Even before we were streaming, just that moment of like, God, anything could happen right now.
See all the cars there, just like coming around those corners. You as the pole driver, you were allowed to do that, aren't you? Slow things down, speed
absolutely.
it up.
Your call.
Yeah, there's a Haas that car's been looking pretty good this year.
Yeah, come on, K.mag.
Rebecca says this track scares me so much. Nerves for me today, she says.
Absolutely.
And Stringer Bell says, dream big, Robbie. I'm dreaming big, man.
Come on.
We're doing Singapore too. Trackside Singapore.
Yes. Somewhere hot would be nice, wouldn't it? Somewhere nice and warm.
Let's manifest it. We send it out in the universe. Monaco.
Miami would be nice. First race in Miami this year. That'd be a nice one.
Yeah. Finsbury Park. Oh, gosh. Right, you can see, is that George Russell's car? No, that was Hamilton's car coming through there
back.
with the Williams behind him. I mean, by the way, talking of Williams, I saw Will.i.am there on the trackside there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they got the celebrities in.
As you said there, the rest of them slowed off a little. Perez has been sat on pole a long time now. That's not going to be helpful for his tyre temperatures as we start off here. Oh, here we go then.
Right.
Are you ready for this?
Matt,
here we go.
Through it.
Come on, fam. 5 lights. It's lights out and away we go, baby. Perez looks good already, covering off that Ferrari.
Great start by Perez.
And Sainz, you need to be just out your way. He's lost out already there to Max,
trying to
has
come
he?
up on the inside
Max
as well.
already going, just like he did last year, Robbie, just coming over to cover Carlos Sainz and take 3rd place. I think he's done it.
Great start by Perez.
Great start by Max Verstappen
yes,
as well.
Verstappen's got there. Yeah, great start by Verstappen.
Now, Lewis has managed to stay out of danger as well. He looks like he's got a bit of space now to move.
And George Russell's, what, is he still up in 5th?
Go on, Gasly.
Oh, look at Gasly going through there on the AlphaTauri. Didn't quite get the move done.
Good defending from K.mag
there's been no crash at the start. That's good to see. But it's been a great start for Perez. Great start for Perez and for Verstappen and for Red Bull. Red Bull 1 and 3 at the moment with Leclerc sat there in 2nd place.
And Lewis has got past the Williams as well, so he's slightly moving his way up. Not masses at the moment. I want to see the graphics come up now, but we're not there.
You're still moaning about them graphics from last week, aren't you?
Yeah, still.
There you go. There's a graphic.
So he's made, as I said, 1 place for Lewis. But Max Verstappen, great start from him. How he squeezed Carlos Sainz out the way there. That's his corner, Robbie. He did it on both restarts against Lewis Hamilton last year. Just knows exactly where to put his car to keep people out of his way.
Well done to Perez. It was a brilliant start by him, and he's already...
Vamos. Let's go.
He's already
Viva
away
Mexico. Crucially, Esteban Ocon has stayed in front of George Russell as well.
Is there Lewis Hamilton making another move there? Can't believe he must be looking, thinking, what am I doing here?
Well, quite.
All the way down
and the
to
Williams
the
of Alex Albon just made a move on Lewis to try and take it back there. He's thinking, piss off. That's not in the script, Alex.
Welcome to the real world, Lewis.
Absolutely.
Lewis plays
Oh, Lando
safe,
Norris
says
making moves on Gasly and the McLaren there. Good to see. Into the top 10. Come on, Lando. You see how tightly they're all together. No mistakes
very
here
tight,
still.
No mistakes.
If anybody does trip up and hit a barrier there, Robbie, it is going to cause.
They're really tight corners.
Absolutely right.
And it's a really fast track as well, isn't it?
Yeah, rapid.
I love a night race, though. I really do love a night race.
Everything's
Crap start by Zoo, says John Craig.
Yeah,
and, come on, Lando boy, says Nerd.
Yeah, Guan Yu Zhou's lost a few places there, actually, down in 17th.
Yeah. Latifi in last place at the moment. They're just doing a replay of the start of the race.
So watch here now, Robbie. So yeah, let's go for Max Verstappen, who is second down on the left-hand side. Now, I don't know that actually Carlos Sainz has made a mistake trying to take Charles Leclerc there, and that's what's cost him position for Max to come all the way around. And I knew as soon as they went into the first corner, Max was going to take Charles Leclerc there. So, Carlos Sainz there. So I think poor from Carlos Sainz. If you just watch again, that Ferrari, it gets too close to Charles Leclerc, and Charles Leclerc said, no, I'm having the outside line. And then that means, okay, well, you've lost to Max now. So between them, they've not worked as a team brilliantly there, the two Ferraris. And that's already Max Verstappen on the podium.
And that helps out his teammate in first place at the moment as well. Yeah. So we're watching Lewis's start. Talk us through that.
Yeah, now we're just seeing here, just coming through, and can you see what I talked about with him backing off?
Yeah.
So this is where I said to you, Lewis actually will have in his mind, this isn't about racing to the front straight away, like we often see him. At this circuit, it's about just make sure that you've got time to react if something happens.
There's Guangzhou. Looks like he was having problems.
Oh, and interesting, yeah. It sounds like actually Bottas reported the same thing the start of last week.
And he had a little touch there as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and that's lost him all those places.
So poor start from him. He had a good race last weekend, but not so good this weekend. And George Russell at the moment in 6th place.
Yeah. I mean, in one sense, good to see he's held on to that. That shows you that, things aren't as drastic as people say, but it doesn't look like he's challenging Esteban Ocon for 5th.
Yeah, Ocon in 5th, looking good at the moment. Ocon in 5th place. So not a lot of movement from the start of the race.
No, we're going to see some gaps stretching out now. So this in Formula One, guys, this is where we start talking about, well, what do we track then? What do we follow, Robbie, all the way through? Well, the timing screen is really important in Formula One. So we're seeing there the gaps between each car. Now, crucially, if you're within 1 second, that's where you get the DRS and you get that advantage to help overtake. So we're seeing there, Sergio Perez has got a 1.5 second gap on Charles Leclerc in first. And there goes George Russell on Esteban Ocon.
Great move.
He's got to get that move done. He's done it.
He's done. Look how close to the wall.
Wow.
Look how close to the wall he is. But a great move there by George Russell.
And he's coming back for him. Oh, go on, Esteban Ocon. He's just weaving to try and find his way around at the end of the straight there.
Definitely seeing more overtaking in these cars, aren't we?
Absolutely we are. And the McLaren had his DRS open there.
Oh,
he's not made the
missed the corner there.
That might be naughty.
Latifi last, no surprise, says Jonas Jackson.
Absolutely no surprise.
Why is Lewis using hard tyres, says Perez 1 FY?
Yeah, so this is just going to be purely down to a strategy thing. Now, Mercedes got this wrong last week, Robbie, and, in the end, the hard tyre was hopeless and they had to change it. They're going to be hoping that Lewis can stay out way longer than everybody else and gain more track position by effectively performing an overcut on that tyre. Overcut just simply means, guys, because he's got a tyre that will wear slower than the rest, he'll be able to, when everyone comes into the pit lane, stay out, stay fast. By the time he pits several laps later and comes out, he will have done the overtaking in the pit lane. It's
although he's already complaining on the radio that he's got no grip on the tyre.
That's classic,
so no grip on the tyre, he's saying. He's not making any headway at all.
I wonder, Robbie, if that is to do with this year, as Formula One is trying to become carbon neutral by 2030, one of the things we're seeing is them phasing out those tyre blankets that they use to warm up the tyres. So they are allowed to use them this year, but the temperatures have been turned right down on those electric blankets. So, the hard tyre, it's going to be a lot more difficult for them to get heat into it to begin with.
Rebecca Challenger says, shout out to Lewis today, who breaks the record for the most race starts in F1.
Most race starts for one single team. Yeah, absolutely right. Schumacher. Whoa! Oh, my days. Alonso saying, I'm not sitting behind you, you fucker. Let me by. I like to see teammates battling it out, Robbie.
He didn't let him
Bottas not happy at all.
He's
the
not
team
happy.
principal, he's like, fuck off.
I think that was a typical Alonso thing to do as well.
Yeah, it was. And he was confident that he knew where the barrier was. You saw him go really close left and then come right again. More of that, please.
You don't want to see your two cars crashing out of the race, though.
That's Otmar Saf's problem. Alonso's thinking, your problem, pal, not mine.
Yeah, until the race.
Look at this now, Robbie. Watch him throw it into the left and then last minute break and come out to the right.
Dangerous move.
I want to hear the team radio there. I'm sure Ocon will be giving it like, what's he fucking doing?
Ooh.
Oh, Guan Yu Zhou just lock up there, maybe
lock up.
showing it a
Big
little bit of
lock
his
up.
inexperience there.
Big lock up.
Oh, Latifi's locked up as well there. That's
Surprise, surprise. Anyway, still Perez in the lead. Leclerc in second. Keep saying Leclerc. Leclerc in second. Verstappen third. Sainz fourth. Russell fifth.
Oh, here we go again.
Ocon sixth. Alonso seventh. Bottas eighth. Magnussen in ninth. And Gasly 10th. That's the top 10 as it stands at the moment. Clean race at the moment, no crashes. But wow, are they getting close to those walls?
He's going for it. Now he's going to go for him again on the main straight here. Pink versus pink. Spaniard versus Frenchman.
Ooh, and he's
Come
just
on,
making
Alonso.
a move on him. Here's Alonso.
Same move again, but he's not going to get it done.
He's not going to get it done again.
And that's just what Max Verstappen was doing to Lewis last year. He was saying, I'll show you outside. I'm not giving you the inside line going into turn one here. But I think he's going to get it done here.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Tight.
Racing his teammate. It's what we want to see. It's what we want to see. We want to see racing of the highest order. By the way, the poll results are in. Let's see those poll results. 46% of you are going for a Leclerc win, 24% Verstappen, 21% Perez, 7% Sainz. Thanks to everyone who voted. 2.4 K votes. So brilliant. Loads of you voting on that. At the moment, in the lead though is Perez. Only 21% of you went for him, but Perez is leading, Leclerc in second, and Verstappen is currently third, Sainz fourth.
Now,
we've got the order right. We've got the people involved right at the moment, just not the order. Let's see how it all pans out.
Now, I mentioned before, Robbie, that we'll keep an eye on the timing screens for the people that are new to Formula One and doing that. Let's just check back in there. Last time we talked about it, the gap between Perez and Leclerc was 1.4 seconds. You can now see it's 2.4 seconds. So in just a couple of laps, Sergio Perez has extended his lead by another second. And that shows us actually the Red Bull's got some pace here. It's not that the Ferrari is raw pace, the fastest car. Oh, and here we go again. We're getting interrupted by the battle of the teammates again. Come on now, Fernando.
Coming for him again.
Easy,
here he goes.
light work.
Straight past him this time, Alonso.
Oh, Esteban's not giving it up, though.
Ooh.
Wheel to wheel.
Wheel to wheel, but it is Alonso who's got past him.
Good for you,
Great
Ocon,
driving.
though.
Great driving there by Alonso.
Good for Ocon to say, no, I'm not going to be bullied out of the way. You want it, you take it. I want to see the same thing between Max and Perez if it comes to it. I don't want to see him let him past.
Jamrock Lords George says Ocon was out of order, but Andy Hamilton says love to see teammates going for it.
Absolutely. Oh. Alonso just had to watch before he turned in for the corner. He had to make sure he left room for his teammate there because Ocon was right up the inside of him.
Declan says Verstappen's got this. Also, Sia says, question, what's the problem with Lewis Mercedes downforce this year?
Yeah, that's some of what's going wrong there, and they keep a lot of the teams actually have changed their downforce setup for this track. So what we saw is Red Bull in particular reduced the amount of downforce that they put in. Ferrari didn't. Lights and Leclerc don't work on the back of his car. Oh, interesting. Okay, I've never seen anything like that said before. So is it?
Well, you can see that the lights aren't working on his back of his car, are they? What happens in that case?
Well, I don't know. Whether that's, I mean, it's not braking lights or anything. You know, that's not something that they have in Formula One. It's to do with the battery recovery system. But that's him. He's telling teacher there, and I don't know. Are the FIA going to say he has to come in and change the car?
I always thought that light was on there just to sort of show.
Ocon's going for it. Go on, Ocon. Keep this Grand Prix alive for us, guys. Oh, he hasn't made the corner, though.
He ain't made the corner.
He's going to have to give that back.
He's going to have to give the place back.
Yeah. Nice try, Ocon, but you're going to have to give it back and go again. And by the way, while this battle's happening, Otmar Saf is not going to be happy to see Valtteri Bottas is now right on the arse of Fernando Alonso. They look nervous in the garage as well. They're not celebrating those little overtakes, you notice. Oof, yeah, just didn't quite make it.
Yeah. They're not happy in the garage at all, are they?
Now, Lewis Hamilton, crucially, has made no ground on Daniel Ricciardo in that McLaren, down in 14th place there. He's actually still running. What we're talking there, he's half a second at the moment behind Daniel Ricciardo right now. I wonder if we'll see a bit of action of him
coming in
moving
and changing
through.
a tyre. Or you think they're just going to, really stick to it?
Yeah, I think he's going to want to clear it as quick as he can.
Anyway, there's a question.
Oh, here we go now. Bottas has now possibly got the opportunity to challenge these Alpines while they're fighting between themselves.
He's gaining on both of them. There's a turn one incident involving cars of Alonso and Ocon noted.
Yeah, and I think because he's given the place back, I think they're going to leave that now.
Yeah, they'll leave that. But he'll have another go at him. They're running so close.
It's so good. But look now, K.mag in the Haas is also involved as well as Bottas. So Otmar Saf's going to be saying, guys, leave it alone. And now there's a DRS train with, Bottas and Alonso both darting to either side to try and get a move going into turn one here. It's all going to be about the midfield at the moment.
Yeah, it's very exciting there.
Come on, Bottas, what have you got? Ferrari power.
Again, these Haas really showing some good pace, aren't they?
Oh, wow. So Otmar Saf, who is the team principal for the Alpine team, has just come on to Crofty and said, no orders at the moment. We're allowing them to race. We're happy for them to go racing.
Like he's got a choice in it.
Yeah. Like Alonso's going to listen. Yeah.
The Mega Naj says a newbie question. How comes DRS only works when you're 1 second close? Wouldn't it be better if it was always on?
No, because you don't want to give the car everybody advantages all the way through. So the DRS is designed to give just a slight advantage of about 15 kilometers an hour, only at certain moments in the track, only if they're already close enough to be able to make an overtaking move. So it's not like a cheat sheet, like a turbo boost button that you'd get on the PlayStation or whatever. It's very much about, you're already close enough to make an overtake. We're going to give you something that just makes sure that you've got that extra advantage because of the dirty air to make sure that you can get past. So it's a great question. It's something they've trialled in the Formula E electric series, actually. Can you believe this? I don't know if you've heard about this. So all the fans that are watching live, you've got an app, right? And you can vote for a driver to award a turbo boost for. And whoever gets the most votes is literally given more power for like 30 seconds to be able to make some overtakes. It's crazy.
I can see if that gets introduced into Formula One, some bots coming out.
Totally.
Leclerc's on his radio. What's he saying, Matt?
Now, what we're hearing here is Ferrari coming in and saying, we're doing a better job with our tyres than Red Bull are. Red Bull's tyres are wearing out quicker than ours, so just don't worry, you're 2.5 behind, stay where you are. Now, Lewis has made 2 places up while we've been chatting about the midfield battle there.
So
he's obviously done Daniel Ricciardo.
Probably a bit more grip in those tyres, maybe.
Yeah, and I think, the hard tyre takes a bit longer to get the temperature going. We're 10 laps in now. He's maybe feeling like we've got them in the sweet spot. Yeah, and it's Lance Stroll that we've seen him clear.
12th place, Lewis.
Oh, and Daniel Ricciardo must have come in and made a pit stop that they've not shown. He's down all the way back in last place now. I don't know what's happened to Danny Rick
Hamilton up into 12th place now. So he has gained a couple of places, as you said.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, with Danny Rick dropping down, it's Stroll that he's managed to clear. And Hamilton will get points at least, says Perez, 1 FY. Well, still have to wait and see. Yeah,
Jan Foggy says if the DRS was open all the time, they'd be flying into the wall while going around corners. Because there were some people saying, it sounds a bit dumb that. Why don't you just let it just...
Oh, well, I wondered in the comments whether they were talking about the Formula E thing, that sounds dumb, the turbo.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want a drink? You all right?
I'm all right at the moment. I like that idea.
Do you? Yeah, a little fan interaction. Yeah,
fan interaction.
You just know, though, in Britain anyway, we'd use it to take the piss. It'd be like, right, give it Latifi. See
what giving Latifi all the way through. And he's still come last.
What next? Are we going to be dropping like red and green shells like Mario Kart?
Brent says, Robbie, can you do an IPL watch along, please? All right, well, maybe when we're getting later into the tournament or maybe the final.
What's IPL?
IPL cricket.
Oh, cricket. Not
Cricket.
For me,
You don't like cricket?
Ooh,
I like
no.
cricket. I was watching a bit of cricket earlier. The West Indies beating England.
Nice.
I was watching that. No, I like cricket.
I can slightly get behind the
I used to play a lot
T20
of cricket.
thing as a,
Yeah, IPL is T20.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
cool.
IPL
Alright.
IPL stands for Indian Premier League, and it is
Yeah, fair.
it's like a series. It's a league where they play 2020, and
Fair.
it's very exciting. Very exciting.
Fair.
Some of the best cricketers from around the world playing it.
Yeah, I played cricket once ever, and it was a few years ago for a charity thing. Somebody said, "Oh, come along and play," and I was giving them stick, and cricket's shit. It's no good. And I came up. I faced 12 balls. That two overs, is it?
You did all right if you faced 12 balls without getting out.
I had to retire on 30. Yeah,
You made 30?
Couple of sixes, couple of fours.
In
not
your
a lot
first
of running.
ever game?
In my first ever game, right? And then they were like, "Oh my God!" They made me retire on 30 because it was a charity game, 2 overs. And then they said, "Right, have a go at bowling," which I'd not really done before. 3 wickets,
And they
2
were,
catches. 2 of them were catches, but apparently they count as wickets. And they came away afterwards, and I said, "The best thing is, I still think cricket's shit."
Well, you were playing with kids or something.
No, but I don't think the standard was great. It was like a pub thing,
Yeah,
It was
the
over
standard
beers
definitely
and-
weren't great. A lot of beers by the sound of it.
Yeah, it was.
IPL is awesome, says Gentel. And 1969, he says. And Louis says, when is the race in Miami?
Early May actually. First,
Oh, it's early May.
8th of May or something. Yeah.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, I don't mind a bit of that actually.
Yeah.
Could do with a bit of sun.
Right, the race is still continuing on. So as it stands, still Perez out in front.
Absolutely.
And as I said right at the start, I'd love to see him win it.
Yeah.
To be honest, I would. And that'd
Great
be
for Formula One to see him win
Great
it.
for Formula One to see 2
And
new
speaking of
guys.
great for Formula One, here comes the greatest of all time, getting round Lando Norris up into 11th place now, 1 away from the points. For me, I felt confident he'd get points. The question is, how many? Can he get top 6?
He seems way back at the moment, though.
Yeah, long way to go. It's that hard tyre that I'm interested to see. Him and Kevin Magnussen are running it. Is that going to make the difference between getting past Bottas and maybe the Alpines? That's what we've got to find out.
They're still racing Alonso and Ocon.
I have to shout out Kai Lindstrom, our off-circuit dude, all the way in Finland, Robbie. He is loving seeing Lewis Hamilton and George Russell in the mud. That is simply because his fellow countryman Bottas was booted out of Mercedes. So he jumps up on the streams pretty regularly to just have a good laugh at how they're getting on. Big ups to you, Kai. Keep coming through, man.
Are they going to have a 30-race season, says Joshua Kane?
Rumoured, Robbie. Now, I love the sound of this. Other people, and I get it. And for me, I think people are concerned that it's too much for them to be away and constant. That's 30 weeks of being away from home and on a world tour and all that. And I say, well, listen, with the mechanics and all that, hire double the amount, get them doing 15 each, all the way through. But what that means, Robbie, is we're possibly looking at going back to Africa for a race. Fantastic idea. We haven't raced in Africa for a long time. It possibly brings tracks like Malaysia and India back into the fold. And for me, hopefully takes away this idea that really we're going where the money is right now. And, we've got 4 or 5 races in the Middle East. I'm not saying that that's, an issue, but it's depriving us. That's where the money is, and it's depriving us of some great racing on other continents and in new places.
Top Gears, he says, the Bushy Park circuit in Barbados could be fun if they can upgrade it. Now, that would be another place I would love to head to if they got the race going there.
You got to take me.
We'll throw our support right behind that one for sure.
Now, just checking in with timings, and the reason I'm saying this one, there's not a major change in the timings, but we've been following. When I checked in around lap 7, Perez was at 1.4 seconds. By lap 10, he was at 2.4 seconds. He is still
Oh, by the way, that's Bottas there.
Bottas, Kai.
Bottas making a move there on Ocon and getting it done as well.
Oh dear. And Lewis Hamilton, meanwhile, has also benefited and taken Pierre Gasly up into 10th. Lewis now has got Kevin Magnussen next in the train and is only half a second behind him.
And who's coming in there?
It's Lance Stroll coming in for an early pit.
Lance Stroll coming in the Aston Martin.
First to do it there.
Big up Rebecca. She says, smashing it, guys. Love the podcast.
Oh,
Who else? I think
Rebecca.
the Williams has come in there as well.
By the way, Rebecca, you're all over this super chat today. That's like 5 or 6 times you've been in
Big
there.
up Rebecca Challenger.
What a legend. She's usually sending me a picture of a Sunday roast on a Sunday, winding me up and going, look what I'm having. I'm like, ah. Look at that, Lewis. Clean move done. Just, you notice he's keeping himself out of trouble as well. He's doing the moves only when there's space to do it.
Driving smart today.
Really sensible drive.
No crashes yet, by the way. Fingers
No
crossed,
red flags
but no
yet.
red flags.
I still think, you know...
You still think it's time
Once
for
we
it to
get
happen?
into, the pit window being open, people coming in, it adds a
And
bit
it
more
could-
jeopardy.
Could still change the race up front because there's a bit of a procession up front at the moment. Perez, Leclerc, he's up on his radio at the moment. We'll see what he's trying to
interesting.
say.
He's asking about boxing and whether he should come in first. Now, listen, if I'm Ferrari, he's done a really good job staying on Perez. He's not let Perez get away any more than 2.4 seconds today. I'd actually be looking and saying, no, let Red Bull take the lead here. If Perez wants to come in, we stay out. Give it a few more laps.
What about the undercut?
Yeah, he definitely could go for an undercut, but I think that leaves them exposed to Max Verstappen coming through and then having track position. So, you know, the fact that Sainz unfortunately lost that position to Max early on, it's really going to put the pressure on Charles Leclerc today. He is now in a Red Bull sandwich.
Harry O'Neill says, love the content, Matt and Robbie. Thank you very much.
Come on, Harry.
And Jamrocks, George says, a Ferrari undercut. So they could be going for it.
But here we go now. So they've obviously asked him to just pick up the pace. So now the timing's dropped to 1.6 seconds, Robbie. So he's made up almost a full second in the last lap just to say, I've got a bit of pace here. I'm going to use a bit of tyre. Let's see if we can put Perez under pressure. And now Charles Leclerc.
Up on his radio again.
Oh, we're going for the undercut. Here we go, Ferrari.
Ferrari coming in for the undercut. Let's see.
Red Bull have responded immediately, and we thought they would. They're not going to risk an undercut when they've got the 1.6 seconds. That Ferrari could pull away. Oh, and there you go. That's a bluff. Charles Leclerc stays out. Love to see it, Robbie.
Oh, so he's bluffed him.
So, well,
He's bluffed him.
and like I told you, they're going to do what the opposite of Red Bull. So if Red Bull are trying to cover it, then bollocks to you. We're going to stay out. That's exciting, and I like to see them do it.
That is exciting. Ferrari call their bluff, but will it work out for them? Will it work out for them? Of course, as the race stands now, it'll be Leclerc in the lead with Verstappen in second place and Sainz in third.
And crucially, look at this. George Russell almost coming out behind. Perez almost coming behind George Russell there. It shows you how slow that Mercedes is. That after a pit stop, he's coming out behind him there. Now, Robbie, here's what I want to see immediately. I want Carlos Sainz in the pit lane covering off Perez. He'll still come out behind him, but it again shows, okay, we'll match Perez with the hard tyre with Carlos Sainz just to make sure that we've got Max and Perez covered. I'm worried that now Max and Perez could do opposite
there's a problem there with the
strategies.
the AlphaTauri. They're putting the tyres on. You saw the sparks.
Oh, yellow flag. Here we go.
It's Williams.
Is it going to have to be a red?
So Latifi has crashed out. Yes, that's going to be a red flag. We can see debris on the track.
Now, I'm not so sure. How are they going to get that car off the track here, Robbie? A crane could come over the top, but you know, right now we're on a virtual safety car. It's definitely going to be at least a full safety car. But then I look and go, is it going to have to be our first red flag of the evening, Robbie? Which means, of course, that everybody gets a free tyre change, and that's good news for Charles Leclerc.
Matty's mate, Latifi hitting the wall.
My mate. Should we talk about Latfiy again? This happened yesterday on the stream. Latifi crashed out of qualifying yesterday. He cannot drive on this circuit in particular.
And that changes everything.
Now, Leclerc and Max Verstappen pitting. Carlos Sainz is pitting right now. So they're not waiting for a red flag, which is usually a good thing. Double stack from Ferrari. Great to see it if they've not slowed down Sainz.
Quick pit stops as well. 2.
Yeah, and now we call that, Robbie, a free pit stop. And I'll tell you for why. When there's a virtual safety car, it's not about not overtaking. It's about reducing speed, and they're basically on cruise control. So because of that, it means that the guys who come in the pit lane, because everybody's running at 40% less speed, it's like saving 10 seconds almost in the pit stop. So they call it a free stop. Because effectively it takes you half the amount of time than it normally would. So unfortunately for Sergio Perez, he has just been a massive loser in this regard. If you see now, Robbie, the top 4 have all pitted for new tyres, and Perez is now 3rd in the Grand Prix. So he is already, in my opinion, out of the running for the win of this race. This is now advantage Max Verstappen all of a sudden, and Charles Leclerc.
Rebecca says she's not happy with Latifi. She said, Latifi, FFS, get out of F1. She's had enough of him. Latifi horrible, says Bertrand.
Horrendous. People don't like me mentioning it, so I'll just mention it quietly, Robbie. Let's not forget Latifi is also the man who crashed in Abu Dhabi that caused the carnage at the end.
He is.
Between Lewis and Max.
That's quite a bad crash, by the way. The car is absolutely totaled. They're showing the replay of it now.
It's just what he did yesterday. I think it might even be the same corner that he crashed. Oh, no, it's a different corner to yesterday. But
or he loses it, and that is bad driving.
Yeah,
it's just driving, isn't
literally just got on the power too early.
He loses it, bang.
Bang.
Poor driving.
Car crumples into the wall. Game over for Nicholas Latifi. Yeah, Jamrock George is calling red flag. I mean, I'm thinking, I don't know how they can clear that track without bringing the cars in.
And that's all it takes. That's all it takes is one little error on this track and you are into the wall.
Can we have a moment's silence for Sergio Perez? The poor guy did nothing wrong here, but just, you know, this is kind of what was happening with Lewis last year. Just purely because somebody else crashed, everybody got the free pit stop, and now, after pit stops have been completed, Perez is running third in the Grand Prix, and he was out in the lead.
Pure bad luck, isn't it?
Totally. And this is why, for me, at the start of the Grand Prix, I don't know who it was in the chat who said Perez to lead the entire Grand Prix and win it, and I just said, here in Jeddah, impossible.
But my top three at the moment is looking on, isn't it? Because
did you go for Leclerc, Verstappen, Perez by any chance?
I went
Not
Leclerc,
quite.
Verstappen, Sainz.
So you still need more upset for poor old Perez.
All right, you see the cars here that's driving
by the
through
way,
here slowly.
Again, they haven't red flagged. That is so slow. Those cars are going basically, what, 10, 15, 20 miles an hour?
Yeah.
It's too slow. Why not red flag? Give us a restart. It's going to be a bit more exciting.
Why don't they have a crane to lift it out off the...
Like they usually... I think they did, actually. I think the car got lifted. We didn't see it, but I think the car was lifted.
Some sort of forklift thing they got there, isn't it?
Yeah. Crucially, Lewis Hamilton's up to 7th place, but has not pitted for fresh tyres.
Why? He's just trying to hold his track position.
Yeah, so he's now looking... He's already on the hard tyre, so everybody's come in and put the hard tyre on. Lewis, you know, and his team are obviously thinking, OK, let's keep 7th for now. It's Saudi Arabia, Robbie. We could be red flagged in another, 5, 10 laps time, and then Lewis comes in, and it looks like a masterstroke from 7th place. So I think he's looked and gone, OK, if everybody else is in, we'll take the track position. You've got the hard tyre. It should last another 15, 20 laps, maybe.
Hamilton to P7, Russell P5, says Perez 1FY. Mr. Wilson says Perez so unlucky. 2 races in a row, he says.
Interestingly, that's identical timing. So Carlos Sainz is now reporting he feels that Sergio Perez has pushed him off the track there. They're now going to have to look at that and say, well, actually, who had the right of way? Are they going to have to switch and make it your podium prediction with Carlos Sainz in 3rd place?
Ian White said, that's shocking. Even I can see what he did wrong. How is he an F1 driver? Yeah. I know he's a paid driver, but it's shocking he's getting a race instead of someone who can actually drive. And of course, he's talking about Latifi, who is a paid driver. Yeah,
it's tricky for me. I think it's one thing when you have a paid driver that's in the sport, and they're there a year, they're there a couple of years. Latifi's had a long time, Robbie. We've seen him probably have one of the worst head-to-head records against a teammate with George Russell. Yes, George Russell, we think, is a future superstar, but, he never managed to out-qualify his teammate in that time. He's now driving with Alex Albon. He crashed in qualifying yesterday. He's crashed in the race today. I don't think there's a lot of excuses, really, that can be talked about here.
Well,
we have to be careful.
He's a paid driver because he can keep paying for a new car every week.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, don't worry, I'll buy another one,
Is he smashing enough of them up?
Yeah, there's a driver called Dan Ticktum. I might have mentioned him last year. He was an up-and-coming Williams driver. He was part of the Red Bull Academy. He was racing in Formula 3 and Formula 2. He actually got dropped by Williams in the end because he was doing a stream playing a PlayStation game. And he sang a song, Doobie Doobie Doo, Latifi is poo, and literally got called into the office at Williams and fired.
Wow.
And his career as a racing driver seemed to be over. But I mean, he ain't wrong, is he, guys?
No.
And we're Dan Ticktum on this one.
Not what we're seeing at the moment. I mean, right, so we're going to get some racing back on at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a safety car restart, so it's going to be down to Charles Leclerc like it was last week in Bahrain to restart
slow it down,
the race.
Speed it up,
slow it down, speed it and then decide when he wants to go ahead and get the run at it.
And what was it? There was noted about a safety car infringement there with Sainz.
Yeah, and that's what I was telling you about
Perez,
there. Yeah, so it might be, if they deem, that that's no good, they'll either give Sergio Perez a time penalty, or they'll just simply ask him to give the place back to Carlos Sainz.
By the way, guys, don't forget to like this video, subscribe. We're nearly on 200,000.
Come on.
And also get onto Matty's channel. The link is in the description.
Big ups.
Sub.
Come on, big subs.
Sub right now. Let's get Matty up to 3,000. Latfiy moving like Spurs. Bottle job, says Nathan. Nathan.
I think that's harsh on Latifi.
Luke MUFC says Lewis tyres are hotter than the others now.
Yeah. One tyre, well, actually, I beg to differ, Luke. And the only reason I'd say here is we've all now been under safety cars for a few laps. That tyre will have cooled right down at the speeds that they're going here.
That done, Zach says, the worst track in the history of motorsport. I like.
It's funny,
I like tracks where, there's a bit of, if you make a mistake, you hit a wall. I like that.
Oh,
just got to clear it off quicker. Is this the incident?
Yeah, this is just what they're looking at there. I'm all right with that. I don't think that's unsafe.
It was a bit.
So that was Sainz in and Max out. So that's not what they're looking at. What they're looking at is this moment here. So if you stay with Carlos Sainz coming out of the pit lane, you're going to see as he gets to the entry, there's a white line area. And in fairness, Sergio Perez, who's coming behind, you can see him on the right-hand side, Perez there. Perez doesn't cross that line. So that's legal, but at this moment here, he's pushed off the track.
He's pushed him off the track.
So Carlos Sainz is saying, I had to go off the track because Perez didn't yield. And Perez, I'm sure, is saying, well, I'm on my hot lap. He's coming out the pit lane. He's got to yield. It's one of those, Robbie. They've come out at exactly the same time.
I think that's a bit of bad luck there, isn't it? No one's really...
I'd be disappointed, I think, to see the FIA step in on that one, actually. I think that's an incident, surely. That just happens.
ASB says, that's why you like Monaco, Robbie, man. Yeah. Although the only thing in Monaco, there's no overtaking. That's the only thing. But I do love the tightness of the circuit and,
For me, I mean, Monaco's prestigious, but Monaco is the best Saturday of the year. Okay, the Sunday's maybe not the best, but fantastic qualifying, amazing occasion. But, an interesting stat for you, because yes, this is tight like Monaco in the street circuit. Monaco's average speed is 98 kilometres an hour. The average speed here next to the barriers, 270 kilometres an hour.
Wow.
Like, this is
I could race at Monaco.
Track. Yeah,
hey, Latfiy, man, give me a race in that car. I'll be the paid driver, Matt will pay it.
Come on, I'm in.
Onteng says, I'm with Robbie. High difficulty tracks are very entertaining. The Meganage says, as a newbie question, he's got another newbie question.
Come on.
Why does the tyre heat matter?
Massively matters. If you imagine that the mass of that tyre is rubber and they're slick tyres. So when we talk about grip, our road tyres, you and I, when we look at grip, we're looking for all the grooves and everything going in there to give us grip. Well, these guys, it's quite literally, the warmth in the tyre almost gives it that sticky sort of feel to it, right? So that when they're throwing it round the corners, it glues almost to the tarmac. And that's why the degradation happens, is the friction between the tarmac and that warm tyre actually pulls the rubber off over time, causing the tyres to wear out. So yeah, a cold tyre isn't going to stick and it's just going to slide across the surface. So it doesn't just matter, it's essential.
Benji Yag says, the white line dictates who is in front first, so Perez should give the place back. Kai says Bottas to get the top 4 just like Spurs. That's a good comeback. That's a good comeback.
That's Kai. That's our countryman from Finland.
Right, they're still under the safety car at the moment, but the safety car is ending. So we will get racing back.
We're going to get a big old restart. Now look at Max Verstappen there. That is what I like to call a bit of bullying. Pulling right alongside Charles Leclerc. He's not doing anything illegal, but he's just alongside to say, don't you forget, pal, I am right here, right on your tail. Now, for those who don't know, the way that this works, there is a physical white line on the track towards the start-finish line. After that line, overtaking is allowed again, but before that line, it is safety car conditions. There's the white line. Or it might not be that one, actually. There's loads of white lines. It's not that one.
Slowed them right down.
So basically, because no overtaking is allowed, it's up to Leclerc to take the lead, and Leclerc has gone early. And there's your white line. So now people can overtake, but Leclerc's already gone ahead and got a little jump start. And look at the gap already between him and Max.
Good pace there. Looks
Max
fine
now
to
swinging outside, but he's not going to be able to get around him on this occasion. George Russell, though's done. K.mag and the Mercedes, Robbie, up into 5th place. Oh, now we're just seeing Carlos Sainz. Oh, he must have been told to give the place back there. That was not a proper overtake. So I think Perez has been asked to give the place back to the Ferrari there, Robbie. And we're now back on your prediction. Charles Leclerc in 1st, Max 2nd, and Carlos Sainz running 3rd place. You're starting to look like you know what you're talking about week on week, you know. The Mercedes, crucially, now in my book, Robbie, George Russell.
Lewis Hamilton's up. He's on.
Absolutely, up there in 7th place, but hasn't stopped yet. Don't forget.
Hasn't stopped
but
yet.
George Russell right now is running, in my opinion, a very respectable place. If the car truly is the 3rd best on the grid, then 5th is the maximum that he can be achieving today without any interruptions with the top 4. So I'm happy with George Russell there. Lewis now needs to get P6 after a pit stop to call that a successful day.
All to play for still.
And I would not expect them to ask George Russell to let Lewis by in this race, crucially.
Oh, yeah.
I don't expect them to do that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Now, K.mag, what you got? Both of these guys haven't stopped. They're both running a hard tyre from the start of this race.
No,
Ferrari engine
right
versus Mercedes. I don't think he's going to go out for any massive risks here. If he can do the move clean, he'll do it. But if not, I think he'll leave K.mag where he is for now.
Especially considering he's still got to do a stop.
Yeah.
So.
As does K.mag, in fairness. So again, he knows.
He's Lewis Hamilton, and you know he likes racing.
He does.
So you know. Thank you, Joe Burrows. He says yes. Guys, keep up the great work on these streams.
Oh, come on now. Love that.
And Simon Cuthbert says my fantasy team: Leclerc, Russell, Magnussen, Alonso, Gasly. And
we need to get you on that, Robbie. We didn't get it before the race, but let's get you on it for.
Richarin says, why didn't Lewis pit under the safety car? Well, you said that he's just trying to keep position on the track.
Yeah, and they're looking and going, you know what, actually, his tyres are good. He can't put the hard tyre on again, so a medium tyre isn't going to make it to the end of the race, Robbie. So they'll be looking and saying, no, we need to get to at least, I'd say, lap 30, maybe 35, before he can put a medium tyre on. Simply in the rules, every car must stop at least once. Every car must use at least 2 different tyre compounds unless it's a wet weather race. So Lewis starting on hard means he's going to have to use a medium or a soft. I don't think he really had the opportunity to take the advantage there on that stop.
It's a gamble though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's a gamble because, you know, if that tyre starts to deteriorate quick, I mean, they must know that the tyre's not deteriorating.
Yeah, and that hard tyre should do 30 laps. So if to reverse it the other way, because these stops started happening around lap 19, everybody else that started the hard tyre now is going to be looking to run it all the way to lap 50. Yeah. So I think if Toto could have chosen to have that later in the race, around lap 30, then they probably would have come in and taken advantage. But right now, track position's king. Leclerc
just put in the fastest lap there. So no problems with the speed of that Ferrari. Very, very unlucky for poor Perez, says AS Beats. And I agree with you.
Yeah,
really,
very much so.
Really is. It's how it works out when, you know, got Latfiy again.
Yeah, Latfiy.
That Latfiy again, costing people
spoiling races up and down the country. Loves it.
Costing people wins here.
Across the globe. He's not making any fans in Mexico. There's certainly none with the Lewis camp.
Oh, dear.
Dear, oh, dear.
Sia says the Haas car surprises me. They developed that car well this season.
Yeah, absolutely they have, yeah. I mean, this is now, we're in the age of Ferrari power, guys. Ferrari power is back, and it looks like it's here to stay. Alfa Romeo, powered by Ferrari. Haas, powered by Ferrari, and of course, Ferrari themselves. Just the right place at the right time for Kevin Magnussen. Now let's talk gaps again, guys, because we've had a restart, so things have reshuffled a little bit. And you can see there, Charles Leclerc is now the man in the lead. He's got a 1.3 second gap to Max Verstappen. I've been watching that, Robbie, the last 2 or 3 laps. It's not really increasing. So Max is very much staying right on the tail of Charles Leclerc. And there you go, Lewis gets the job done past the Haas.
Hamilton up into 6th place now. Lewis Hamilton.
But K.mag has got DRS. He's going to come back at him here. Go on, K.mag. A lot of people are going to want to see this.
Oh, and he's passed him.
He's done it.
He's passed him. Definitely more overtaken in these cars we're seeing.
And that was just smart moves from K.mag. So I think he actually gave that place to Lewis, knowing full well that he would have DRS to come back at him at the end of the straight. We're seeing a lot more of that in the last couple of years. Drivers being savvy about where the DRS zones are. Yeah, and there you go. Again, just seeing the onboard.
And it was a good move.
Good move from Lewis.
Good move by
Light
Lewis.
work, but I think K.mag's just given him the space and gone, I'll get you. Did really well coming back.
How many pit stops do you think will be left, says, or talk trends?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the fact that everybody started medium and has now gone hard, I think they're going to try where possible to make this a one-stop and go all the way on the hard tyre. If we see another incident, whether that's safety car or red flag or whatever, then everybody, of course, will try and take advantage of a free pit stop. But
jump on what would they jump on then, like softs?
It depends how far we're in.
Depends how long we got.
Yeah, I think between now and lap 35, they might go for a medium. To be honest, between now and 30, they might go for a hard again. Otherwise, I'd expect a medium. We're only going to see a soft tyre used today if we talk the last 10 laps, maybe.
How many laps would a soft tyre give you the race like this?
Depends where you are, but 10 without risking too much. Maybe not even here.
The hard would give you 30.
Yeah.
And the medium.
Again, ish. These are all very much guesstimates. It very much depends on the climate, the track, what's going on. Now, Lewis is giving it a go again. Same sort of plays, a little bit later this time.
And he's got past
which
him.
Which should mean that K.mag won't have DRS.
He's got it done, Lewis. He's passed him.
So Lewis actually waited to do the move later that time, Robbie, just to make sure that Kevin Magnussen didn't have DRS to come back at him at this point. And Max Verstappen is the fastest man on track right now, 1:33.4. But he is 1.5 seconds behind Charles Leclerc, so he's needed to do that to stay on Charles Leclerc's.
Nathan Adams saying Hamilton looking good for P5. Mickey Morris saying, could Lewis get another lucky podium today? Who knows?
Let's not forget, guys, Lewis Hamilton is effectively another 22 seconds behind once he does a pit stop. So don't get too excited right now about Lewis. I'm not saying it can't happen, but he's got to stop again.
On this track, we could see another
a red flag,
car.
Everyone gets fresh tyres.
Everyone comes in, gets fresh tyres.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
we've seen it happen to him when he's been miles ahead and then
we have.
Everyone gets drawn back into it. You never know in this race.
Absolutely
It's all going to depend on if we can get to the end of this race without a red flag, without another safety car. You can see Verstappen there. He's bouncing a bit as well in his car, isn't he?
Ooh, interesting. Verstappen's just reported there on his radio. So there's a white line at the pit entry, and the rules now is if you cross the white line to be going into the pits, you then cannot come back across. If you've committed to the pit, you must go into the pit once you cross that line. And he's just reported on himself. He feels like he might have actually crossed the line there. If he has, he is going to be facing a time penalty of at least 5, but possibly 10 seconds, Robbie.
It's surprising that he'd say that.
We're going to see that. Yeah, it is a little bit, actually.
Max Verstappen being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going on?
Dressing himself up there.
Why would he say that?
I honestly don't know.
Probably because he hasn't done it. Max Verstappen, the crybaby, says Benji. But that would be pretty honest of him if he has said that. I mean, listen, let's wait and see. Hopefully he's not. Gary Nolan says, who controls the DRS? Well, you have the DRS, well, let Matt explain.
Yeah, well, there's a DRS detection line. So there's quite literally, again, another physical white line in one place for the track. If you're within a second when you cross that exact line, then you're awarded for the next lap your 3 DRS zones or 2 DRS zones, however many there are on the circuit. So it's not a live thing throughout. It's literally when you cross that line, if you're under a second, then you're going to have an entire lap's worth of DRS.
Mercedes needs the car to be sorted out. Please, for Lewis and Russell, they're doing their jobs, but they've been let down by the car, says Perez, 1FY.
Yeah, I mean, they are at the moment, but, this is sport. This is Formula One, We see the mighty Man United, say, after the time of Fergie, they had, a lot of titles in a row, a lot of back-to-back success and trophies, but then that era did come to an end. I hope it hasn't come to an end for Mercedes, but, this could be how it is for a while.
Cirque says Verstappen reminds you of Bruno Fernandes, always crying on Man United, you're on Man United. Oh, dear. And Verstappen apparently was talking about Leclerc.
Oh,
not
he was
himself.
there you go. That's more in character, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no way he would be alerting them to the fact that that sounds more like
that's
what
the Max we know.
Right, good.
Oh dear. Guan Yu Zhou, the rookie, has been given a drive-through penalty. I'm not exactly sure what for. He's right down there.
He's having a nightmare,
He's
isn't
having a race to forget today.
Yep. And MTMMCG says,
Marie.
anyone writing off Mercedes doesn't know.
Whoa, fighting talk, Marie. Fighting talk. Yeah, listen, it's a long season, guys, and we are at race 2 of 23 this year. Anybody is capable, certainly out of the top 3, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, anybody is capable of doing something to turn it on.
Tim Golding asking, where is Vettel?
Vettel's still COVID positive.
Yeah, Vettel still didn't have a clearance to race because of COVID.
Yeah, he'll be with us next time out. Now, we've got a week's break in Formula One, and then in 2 weeks' time, Robbie, Australia means that our little watch-along that you've committed to doing with the people, you know that's a 5:30 a.m. start.
I know.
That is, I can't wait to see it, to be honest. Did I see a boxing stream a few months ago of you falling asleep on this couch? did that happen?
WrestleMania, that was.
Was it? Oh, yeah. Well, I don't blame you for that. My God.
I think that's been on this weekend.
Has it really? Yeah, I can't understand the wrestling thing. It's just dancing. It's all scripted and choreographed, isn't it?
Don't say that to expressions.
I've heard that, actually. Well, I'm going to say it to him. I bumped into him in a bar one time, and I said, oh, hello, mate. And, I do a F1 thing with Robbie. And he said, oh, yeah, I've seen that. He said, I can't remember. He said something about, don't make me laugh, fucking F1, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, next time I see you, I can't wait to chat about wrestling. Because, for me, wrestling's designed for 13-year-old girls. It's theatre. It's choreographed.
Don't diss him on wrestling.
Oh,
I can't wait. Like it.
I can't wait. He likes a debate as well, doesn't he?
Ricky says, nice to see new Formula One fans. Your questions, though, laugh at that. Now, come on. Right? Yeah. These questions are questions. We want as many of these questions as possible. We will answer them because the more people get to understand the sport, the more people get into it. And there are lots of little intricacies to the sport. So it is good when Matty explains.
Well, and listen, this is, for me, something I'm really passionate about. As somebody who's been into Formula One a long time and never found really much of a community for it, I just think the biggest issue with Formula One communities is people try and out-geek each other and they make it intimidating, Robbie, with, oh, well, I know about this. And then you start to get people pulling rank. And it doesn't happen in football. You don't get people saying, well, I've watched football since 1983. You know nothing because you're a... Yeah, I just...
No, you do.
Do you? Oh, well, I don't like that kind of thing.
Every game since 1969, so I think I know more than you.
Exactly, and I just think
no, actually, you do get a lot of snobbery in football as well.
Well, I just think, you know what, we're all in it together, and whether you're first time, you've never watched F1 before, but you want to know more about it, or you've been into F1 for 50 years and you just think you want a place to be able to share a bit of banter, that's what we're about here, first and foremost. Bit of crack.
Right, it's still Leclerc in the lead, Verstappen in second place, Sainz in third, Perez fourth, Russell in fifth, his teammate Hamilton now in sixth, but remember he's still got to make a stop. Magnussen in seventh, doing a great job again. Alonso in eighth, Bottas ninth, and Ocon's dropped down to 10th now. Ricardo and Norris in the two, McLaren's 11th and 12th, Gasly in 13th, Hülkenberg 14th, Stroll in 15th, and Albon in 16th, and Latfiy, as we know, is out. Zhu's in 17th, Latfiy out, and Mick Schumacher, as we know, didn't start the race. So we're still looking at the battle for first place. Sorry, Brian.
Absolutely, and crucially now, let's not forget that P6 and 7, Hamilton and Magnussen, are the two drivers who haven't stopped yet. So you can take 22 seconds off them straight away, which is going to drop them outside of the top 10 as it stands at the moment. But the gap here between the top two, Robbie, Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, crucially again, only 1.5 seconds. So Charles Leclerc is not pulling away from Max Verstappen. He is right on his tail.
You can see it there.
And he is keeping him out of the DRS zone, which is important. But Max Verstappen has not given that up. The gap then between Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz for third place is another 4 seconds behind that. So it really is now a top two, Robbie.
Hector Shaw says, new F1 fan here due to the football community. Big up the Don.
Oh, come on now.
And Talk Trainer says, Don, we need a fan show at the UK race.
Oh.
I think we do need to do something special for the race
agreed.
at Silverstone.
Yeah, we really do.
We're
planning something special for the first Italian Grand Prix at the end of April this year as well. We can't say anything about it yet, but yeah, we're definitely keen to have some fun where we can. You got any hookups for us for Silverstone? You getting us there?
I'll try and see what I can do, but
Come
I'll
on,
tell you,
the
it's not easy. That Don Zach, what I've been seeing in the chat, these lot of comedians here, with some of their questions they're asking, you know, since some of those questions that people ask what a DRS is.
Yeah, great, come on.
This newbie question from that Don Zach, what is an engine?
You're on your own.
You're funny, mate. You are funny.
There's a thing called Google as well, you know. You can ask Google. Is Jeeves still a thing? Can you ask Jeeves? Do you remember when we used to ask Jeeves?
Jeeves. I remember that. Yeah.
Back in the
Ask
day.
Jeeves. Kevin Ball says Lewis saying that his tyres are still good. Max Verstappen with the fastest lap, says Vercharkin.
Zane is saying Matty looks like a darts player, Ryan Seal with a moustache. Yeah, I don't think that's flattering, that, a darts player. But I tell you what, Robbie, I like the darts. That's something I want to do. Crystal Palace one Christmas. Have you done it? Have you been?
Crystal Palace?
No, Ali Pali.
Ali Pali. Yeah, I've done it.
Have you? Yeah. Did you get dressed up? Any of that?
I didn't get dressed up. I actually was in the VIP.
Oh, of course.
So you know,
you were in a suit, weren't you?
And I was getting
suited and booted,
and
champagne.
I was getting beer abuse, man. There was some Tottenham fans there and that.
Fantastic.
It was all friendly,
Yeah,
but they were
great.
giving me beer abuse. And they were singing, you know, like they do this song and they go, stand up if you love the darts, stand up.
Oh, yeah.
And then they look over at all the people that are sat in the VIP at the tables. They say, boring tables. And they were pointing at me and I was like, listen, man.
Yeah, great.
It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant day out.
Yeah, I've wanted to,
Ali
honestly,
Pali,
for like 10 years, I've fancy. I watch it on telly now and again and just think,
it is awesome. It is awesome.
The way that they've taken what seemingly was considered a fairly dull sport and just made it this like spectacle.
Yeah.
I'm here for that.
No, it's fantastic.
Big up Kai as well, by the way. He's tagged off circuit here and he's saying off circuit community is the best one. You're a real one, man.
Big it up. Right, back on the racing. Still Leclerc in the lead, Verstappen and Sainz. Will Hamilton come in now?
1.2 seconds now, Max. So he's just made up 0.3. He's really trying to just reel it in and get some business done as we're about 2/3 of the way through.
Still feel sorry for Perez, man, in this race.
Just seeing a bit of work from Valtteri Bottas there, just trying to make a little move on Fernando Alonso.
2 ex-teammates of Lewis.
Absolutely. Yeah, interesting. Now, I'd imagine, Robbie, I said to you earlier that I reckon the pit window for Lewis and K.mag is going to be somewhere between sort of lap 32, lap 36 we're expecting. So we're on lap 32 right now. Any minute now, we should be expecting to see Lewis and Kevin Magnussen coming in. It's crucial for Lewis that he doesn't come out behind K.mag and have all that work to do again, spending tyre getting round the Haas. So I don't know if Mercedes are going to look at that and say, okay, while we've got a 4-second lead on the Haas, do we want to bring Lewis in now? It's going to be very interesting to see how those pit stops go down.
Hector Shaw says, will we see a Don Robbie F1 team anytime soon?
Of course we will.
Trying to bankrupt people, man. Well,
you could swing it. I mean, you'd have to,
pay for a helmet.
Yeah, that's the thing. You'd have to pull some of your funding out of Arsenal as a football club, but you could probably swing it into Formula One.
Oh, my God. Right, Verstappen still hunting down Leclerc here. Leclerc's just pulled out the fastest lap, 1:32.683.
I can't even claim a draw if it finishes like this at the moment, like I tried last week. You've got it bang on at the moment. Charles Leclerc first, Max second, Sainz third. I had it the same, but with Perez swapped with Max.
Nathan Abam says, great race so far by Ferrari, and it has been so far.
It really has, yeah.
But remember, there's still quite a long way to go. Still, 23 laps left. Still anybody's at this stage.
Antonio Giovinazzi, last year's racer of the Alfa Romeo, reserve driver for Ferrari this year. That's a job for me, Robbie. People used to laugh at me when I was growing up, and they said to me, all my mates, they wanted to be footballers, and said to me, what's your dream job? I said, the reserve goalkeeper for a Premier League team. They said, what do you mean? You don't want to be in? And I wasn't a goalkeeper either. I play outfield. I said, no, I'm most comfortable on the bench. Because you're in the dressing room, you're part of the parties, you celebrate, you can have the beers, but without any of the pressure of actually having to play, Robbie. And I look at Antonio Giovinazzi there and go, reserve driver for a strong Ferrari this year is way better than being the driver at a struggling Alfa Romeo last year.
Yeah, that's true.
He's at every race stood in the garage.
But you'd want to get out there, though. I mean, these guys are trying.
Oh, reserve keepers play the occasional FA Cup game, against Barnsley away. I could handle that.
Maybe they should bring in substitute drivers into this.
Well, they do. And that's what he is. He's effectively...
No, but I mean during a race.
Oh, really? Yeah.
A bit like Le Mans.
There you go.
I like that at Le Mans where
swap over.
You do the swap over. I like that.
I'd like to, and we'll do it at some point. We'll do a content time where we go and cover the Le Mans. I'm not throwing you in there. Poor old Robbie's thinking, get fucked. But a couple of my mates go every year and they say it's a right laugh. They go and they camp for a few days, a bit like a festival, and of course, you go to bed and then you wake up and, God, who's winning? I like the idea of that. Now, the gap again, we just keep checking in. Charles Leclerc, with his fastest lap there, has pulled another half a second of time on Max Verstappen. We're now at 1.8 seconds between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. Now, this is bad news for Kevin Magnussen. He's got Alonso breathing down his neck trying to overtake him. And Kevin Magnussen still hasn't stopped Robbie. So, Haas need to be looking and saying, well, is it time now with 15 laps to go? Do we need to bring him in and put him on the medium tyre? Don't forget, he needs to be then given time to be able to come back at these guys when he's got his grippy mediums.
Has it worked out really for Magnussen and Hamilton staying out on those tyres?
At the moment, Hamilton actually looks okay. He's got 5 seconds on K.mag. So by the time Lewis comes out, if we just count down the times there, it'll be roughly 20 seconds, 22 seconds. So we see there, he's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, Jesus, no. Lewis is going to be coming out, down near the back. This is going to be a problem. I think Mercedes, I wonder whether they've rolled the dice and just really praying for a
But will these guys, and these guys you think will be able to get to the end of the race on these tyres?
Yes, 100%. I think that's what they're shooting for at the moment. I think that's what they've planned. I'm starting to get worried now, actually. We're at lap 35.
And here comes the move that's going to be made.
And there you go.
It's made.
And Magnussen does not have the tyres to fight that back.
Magnussen can't.
I'm concerned now for Lewis Hamilton. People, sitting and thinking, great, Mercedes 5 and 6. That's what I called at the start of the race. But Lewis has to stop again by the rules and put the medium tyre on. One thing's for sure, though, everybody else by the time we get to lap 45 is going to be really struggling for grip on that hard tyre. Lewis is going to have a fresh pair of at least medium tyres to be able to come after them. With a very light car, they've burnt all the fuel off by that point. But we'll see. You good for a drink?
Yes, a Heineken. Yes, grab a Heineken.
Yeah, come on.
Sainz has gained 1.2 seconds on Max Verstappen, says Sam.
Oh, and there you go. Yeah, still 5 seconds off the pace, though, isn't it? It really has been a top 2 for the last few laps. So now we're on it officially. 15 laps to go.
15 laps. Oh, I wonder. Verstappen just doing another fastest lap. So he really is putting the pressure on Leclerc at the front. Verstappen driving very well. Will the Red Bull team be worried about after what happened last week? Remember their cars, it was right near the end of the race that both cars broke down. Do you think that would be worrying them at all?
I like to think, K.mag's just taken that. Oh, no, sorry. Is that K.mag taking the place back?
He's taken the place back, hasn't he? Yeah.
Great work. No, listen, I think they'll be
that car seems to
considering
be
it.
Slowing down.
Oh, dear, Fernando Alonso. That's why
Alonso's
the place is
car's
gone.
slowing down.
And this is what we talked about at the start of the show. Otmar Saf did come out and say, listen, the Alpine car, it's not ready yet. It's not quite there.
He's losing power.
Now, crucially, can he make it back to the pit lane? If he can't, Robbie, and he pulls over on track, we will see another safety car, and this race bursts back into life for Lewis Hamilton, who might be able to get a free stop.
He's losing power.
But he might make it back. If he makes it to the pit lane, it's bad news for the Lewis fans. If he has to stop on track, then it's fantastic news for the Lewis fans. He should be able to take an advantage and come in and change those tyres, as will Kevin Magnussen.
He's absolutely gutted there, isn't he?
Devastated.
Otmar.
And here it is, look, he's just losing power.
Looks like he'll be able to make it back, though.
Interesting. No, just hearing on the commentary there that apparently there's an alarm on his steering wheel. Yeah, flashing red in the bottom left corner of his steering wheel there. So that's just telling him that there is something that's gone wrong.
He should be able to make it back. He's creeping
Am I allowed to say that it's a shame that he's making it all the way back? It would have been great for Lewis if he could have just...
He's creeping it back. He's
just pull over now. Just leave it in the middle of the track. Jump out. Don't risk it.
Perez as well.
Oh, and a McLaren as well.
McLaren.
Oh dear, it's Daniel Ricardo. Danny Rick having a similar issue.
Danny Rick, and he is not going to make it back. The white flags are out.
Thank you, Daniel Ricardo, for trying to rescue this for Lewis Hamilton. It doesn't look like, although is that the pit lane entry? If it is...
Oh, he's just creeping it back and...
They might just be able to, if it's at the end of the pit lane, the crew might just be able to go down and push him back in.
Again, no, it's not... That car's going to stop. It stopped.
The question is, now, Robbie, you want to keep adding complexities in. Because of where he is, it might be a safety car, but they might close the pit lane because he's at the start of the pit lane. If that happens, Lewis will not be able to benefit from this at all. But let's remember, guys, for everything you're looking at, if there's a free pit stop, a lot of these guys are going to want to come and change their tyres. It's unlikely to be considered a freebie, but Lewis and Kevin Magnussen must come in.
Bottas is into the pits.
Oh, dear, we're seeing failure after failure here. 3 cars in the same lap.
Bottas is out of the race.
Oh, I'm sorry, Valtteri, and I'm sorry, Kai. That's his guy.
Bottas is out of the race. Unfortunate for him.
Now here we go. Mercedes are going to take this opportunity.
Yeah, they're going to take this opportunity.
I think might be too little too late here, Robbie. There's only 12 laps of racing to go. Lewis, at the moment, we're only on yellow flags, so Lewis is going to be coming out.
They had white flags out, didn't they?
Yeah, we're on a yellow flag now. White is just letting... No, here comes Kevin Magnussen
Alonso
into the
says
pit lane.
Nathan Abam. Pit now says Alex Samuels. Bottas again says MTMMCG.
Come on, K.mag.
Goodbye, Bottas says Perez.
Bang, bang, on it goes. I mean, it's not the fastest thing in the world. 3 summit, innit?
Yeah.
That can't be a 2.7. Now, Lewis still hasn't come in. This is concerning.
Right, that's the...
Why has Lewis not come in? Oh, pit lane's now closed. So there you go, Robbie. Just as I was saying, because of where, and I mean, Fernando.
Alonso's just creeping it back in there. You can see on his steering wheel it says engine kill.
Oh, Robbie.
Engine kill, it says.
They've absolutely blown it again, Mercedes here. If I'm sat here on a couch in London with you, 1,000 miles away from the Grand Prix and saying, Lewis needs to come in now. Danny Rick looks like he's broken down near the pit lane, Robbie. They might close the pit lane entry.
Another car there.
That's the McLaren. And I told you, look, the guys are just going to run it into the garage.
Yeah.
But the pit lane's closed, Robbie. Lewis Hamilton is now not allowed to come and take a free pit stop. He has to stop in the next couple of laps anyway. Lewis's race, guys, now it looks like he's going to be well out of the top 10.
Lewis in the mud, says Josh.
Lewis massively in the mud, guys.
The gamble has not paid off at all.
And Kevin Magnussen did the exact opposite. He came in and took it while the pit lane was open before the race director could even make a decision on this. So, yeah, I'm fuming, to be honest with you. Guys, I want to know in the chat, just so we can see it quickly, give us
Hamilton on the radio now. Probably moaning about it.
And they told him to box, but it's too late by the time he's come round. Too late, they've blown it.
Bit of bad luck in a way, though, isn't it?
Absolutely. Let us know in the chat how you're feeling about that. But honestly, I think Lewis has blown it there. Lewis and his team, anyway.
And there's Alonso out of the race. And he's absolutely gutted. You can see there, he just slapped his helmet. Really dumb move by Mercedes, says Erwin. Bad luck, says MTMCG. Lewis is a crybaby, says Scott. Jonas says, Lewis and Mercedes are terrible this season. I'm disappointed for Lewis Hamilton, really gutted, says Devontae. Terrible decision by Wolf, says Ryan.
This, Robbie, is the definition of Mercedes in the mud. They're making crazy decisions. And Lewis Hamilton, yeah, he was ahead of Kevin Magnussen, but, you know, we need to see maybe more about these team radios here. I'm just going to listen to this one. Yeah, you're in trouble, Lewis. So Lewis just said, are we in trouble or not? Yeah, of course you're in trouble. You're the only car on track who hasn't pitted. By the regulations, you have to come in and pit. You pit now, you're last.
They got the tyres ready for him, but he can't come in. Rebecca
so we're
Challenger
hearing
says...
now, sorry. Ahead of who? Oh, interestingly. Right, here we go. If they open the pit lane while there's a virtual safety car, what did I tell you about virtual safety car before? The cars don't bunch up. They're all on cruise control going around at reduced speed. That means the pit stop will only cost 12 seconds if it's perfect, not 22 seconds, right? If the virtual safety car stays and the pit lane reopens and Lewis manages to get in on time, he has a current 13-second gap over Esteban Ocon in 7th. There is a small chance here that Lewis will be able to pit with a perfect stop and come out still in 6th place. Only if all of those things happen at the same time. So the virtual safety car stays...
He's going into the pits now, isn't he?
No, I think he's gone round. No, he's gone round. It's still closed. So let me just recap, guys. All of these things have to happen for Lewis in this order. Virtual safety car remains on. The pit lane is then reopened. At the same time, Lewis has to be at that part of the track to be able to come in and take advantage. If all that happens at the same time, Robbie, then Lewis's race has been salvaged. He will at least be able to come out back in 6th place. And that's with a perfect stop. If they mess the stop up, if they keep the pit lane closed, or if the virtual safety car ends before all that happens, Lewis Hamilton, Robbie, ain't getting nowhere near the points today. He's going to be down in the bottom 10.
Rebecca Martin says they blew it. Rebecca Challenger says watching this in Germany. Crazy scenes.
Wow. Yeah, a few people saying Lewis P16 confirmed, says...
TK Maximilian says open the ting.
Open the ting, agreed.
Open the ting.
Yeah.
Open the pit lane, says Luke MEFC.
Yeah. Come on.
Does this help Leclerc, though? He's still out in front.
Yeah, listen, while they're on a virtual safety car, the guys, they had to put this...
Laps are still being counted?
Yeah, and they had to put that hard tyre on maybe a little bit earlier than they'd like to do, so this now just takes the wear off the tyres. They're now not wearing the tyre out lap on lap. Yes, you lose a bit of temperature, but yeah, I don't think Charles Leclerc is too worried. I think actually it's helping the top 4, to be honest. Top 5, let's say.
Oh, this pit lane...
No, pit lane closed. As long as there's people standing in the pit lane, it'll stay closed.
They're pushing that car out now, though, so...
Yeah.
It might be a bit too late.
Oh, shit. The virtual safety car is ending. Oh, fuck. Green flag, and that's it, guys. Lewis in the mud. As far as I'm concerned, Robbie, I can't see Lewis even finishing in the top 10 today, and he's going to be livid on his radio.
Yep.
Oh, so just told him, box as soon as the pit lane reopens.
All right, he's boxing now, but it's way too late. And like you said, he will come down.
Fair
Faith
play.
in Sir Lewis says Madua, but he'd have to have a rocket to get up into those points today.
Big time. Now, can I say, fair play to the FIA, you know, for not really buckling to pressure there. They could have been accused there of favouring Lewis and saying, okay, well, let's make sure that Lewis can pit. But they haven't done that. Now, it's not a complete disaster like I was thinking at the moment, but there goes Stroll. Here comes Albon as well, so he's lost out to Albon, and he's going to lose out to Kevin Magnussen, we think. It's a disaster, Robbie.
Yeah, he's
actually in 12th place. There's your graphic update. 12th place now. They've got it all wrong. Just too relaxed on making these calls. And you look at Kevin Magnussen there. Kevin Magnussen, Robbie, was 6 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton, but he dived into the pit lane at exactly the right time. Very poor.
We're looking at Verstappen now. He's reeled in
Leclerc
a bit. So
now DRS won't be open right now for the first couple of laps.
This has worked out well for Verstappen.
Oh dear. And
here he comes, Verstappen.
Could be coming.
Here comes Verstappen right up on Leclerc.
Now wait for turn 2, 3 and 4 is where we're seeing a lot of action. But no, I think Charles Leclerc has just defended that exactly as he needed to do for now. And the gap, for those who aren't following, is 0.3 seconds between the leader, Charles Leclerc, and Max Verstappen. And Max is going to struggle to stay on the back of that Ferrari. Look at him go now, already at
pace on that
0.6. And Charles Leclerc now, in the next lap, has to get over a second to make sure that Max doesn't get DRS when DRS is re-enabled in one more lap's time.
Joe Burrow saying Albon in the Williams doing good. He is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if he scores points today, fantastic, but already he's been dropped by K.mag.
Magnussen's just taken him over.
Now, the advantage has switched as well. Let's not forget that Kevin Magnussen and Lewis Hamilton have a fresh set of medium tyres right now, so they are going to have the grip versus the rest of the grid. Wow, Max is so close to the wall.
Wow.
Goodness me, Max was close on that.
Putting it right on the edge, Max Verstappen. But that's what he does, and that's what makes him such a great
and he's got
driver.
DRS, they've opened it straight away,
now,
and this is the move.
He's made the move, and he's got past him. Max Verstappen has taken the lead of the Grand Prix. He has taken over Leclerc. Can Leclerc get back at him? So close to the wall there,
Come on, Charles Leclerc with the DRS.
Here comes Leclerc again, back at him.
Give it to him, son. Get in there, Ferrari.
Can he get past him?
Max won't make it easy for him here, though.
He's past him. He's got it back. He's got back the lead. Leclerc back into the lead.
Well done,
Great
Max.
racing. Great racing. Leclerc back into the lead.
Can I just say there, Robbie, well
Brilliant.
done to Max Verstappen for not actually being overly aggressive and allowing Charles Leclerc to get the move done cleanly. Great driving from the two of them. Crucially, though, Max will have DRS for this next lap, so Charles Leclerc is not out of the woods yet, guys. Go nowhere. If your missus is trying to drag you out to the pub, you tell her, not now. Give me 7 more laps.
Some great racing. Great racing.
Whoo! You watch again, Charles Leclerc. I just have a feeling that he might have just let Max come through and then fight back. Great confidence from him to do that.
I said to you, Verstappen was going to be coming hot this week.
Big time.
After
now,
last week.
There's your gap. Charles Leclerc has now made it a second exactly. Now, I don't know where the line is and whether Max has managed to reel him back in at 0.5 seconds.
Verstappen's still right up on him.
So it's going to be a surprise who's got the DRS.
Still right up on him, Verstappen.
Has he got DRS as we get to the main straight? Yes, he has.
He's close
DRS
to him.
is open.
Right, here comes Verstappen again. And he's making a move. He's passes.
Whoa, locked up from Max. And a mistake from Max again.
Big lock up by Max Verstappen. Big lock up.
Good driving from Charles Leclerc.
And Leclerc holds on to the lead.
But DRS again for Max going down the main straight. Going into turn 1, 2, and 3. Max has got an opportunity here to try and take the inside line if he can. No,
he's
too
not
far
going to get
back.
near him. He's not going to get near him.
And listen, Robbie, these guys are on old hard tyres. They do not have the grip for this battle. Oh dear, and Max Verstappen, you might say, is crying on the radio. He's accusing Charles Leclerc of crossing the line again illegally and having a little go. I'm sure that everybody's going to be on that in the chat.
Jim May Entertainment says Max is a risk taker. They're going to crash as M2 MCCG.
Nah, massive lock-up.
No, that was a big lock-up by Max. I don't think it...
They're both locked up, but if you watch, Max just really holds the lock-up there. And then you see the back end sliding out as he's trying to get back on the power. Great driving from Charles Leclerc. You know something? These are the kind of tactics that we've seen from Max Verstappen and in early days Lewis Hamilton. It's that aggressive, you bloody will let me past. And Charles Leclerc's not having none of it. He's
Difference
saying,
is it's early in the season, so he has no lead. He has no points from last week. He can't afford to crash out.
Oh, Max Verstappen has just been told on the radio by the guys at Red Bull, you need to calm down, let us do our job, and you do your job.
Ooh.
There you go. You've been told. Crack on. You reel him in, we'll talk to the FIA.
Charles knows Max all too well, says Joel
Absolutely
Harris.
he does. They have been racing together since they were kids in karting days.
Up on the screen, they're asking for their driver of the day. We will, of course, do that. We normally do our driver of the day up in your preview.
Absolutely, in the off-circuit podcast. We do a donkey of the day as well. There's going to be plenty of shouts for that today.
Lewis could be up in that.
Let's see. He's currently running in P11, one away from Stroll on a struggling hard tyre ahead of him. Half a second.
The evil Stroll Empire is rising.
Absolutely. Oh, and here he goes. It looks like he's gone for a move on Lance Stroll.
Ooh,
and Lance Stroll is not yielding one bit. That's what we want to see. But Lewis has got the fresher tyre on the medium tyre. He will get that move done, I'm sure, and at least get into a point-scoring position. It's
been a good race.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been another good race, and what we wanted to see, what we were promised this season, we're going to see more battles because of the cars and the new designs, and we're seeing that.
We are. Well, and crucially,
we're seeing that, aren't we?
I think the best thing that we're seeing, Robbie, is in all of these races last year, you know, by the time we do 10 laps, the leader has built an 8-second lead and it's a done deal. You know, the guys here, whether it was Perez or Leclerc in the lead, they've only ever been a second and a half, 2 seconds ahead of the car behind them. So it's been a closely fought fight all the way through. Now, again, Charles Leclerc has managed to, I think, stay safe from the DRS zone. Or is that the line there? We're about to just see if Max is... I think he might have DRS actually there.
Well, he looks a bit far back there. Oh, he's coming on him. No,
Yeah, he's got the DRS. So crucially, the Ferrari's making up the time in the middle of the track, but by the end, the Red Bull is coming back and getting the DRS.
But he is defending it.
On the line. Great defending from Charles Leclerc again. And all the while that this is happening, Sergio Perez has taken the fastest lap and is holding on to that extra point at the moment. Come on, Charles Leclerc, hold it out. I'm sorry, Max fans.
Perez 1FY says Lewis needs some points. Could those heavy braking ruin the tyre, says Joe Burrows.
Definitely right. That's exactly what the lockups does to the tyres. And these tyres are already old. And look at that, Max Verstappen sliding going in there. That's just showing you how old those tyres are. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton down in P11 on a fresh set of medium tyres is going to be going for it.
Yeah, Rocky says, as a Man United and Ferrari fan, Ferrari are helping my year.
Come on.
And Cyrus says, Ocon is Mr. Consistent. Talk Trend says, just hang on in there, Max. Lap 48, we take over.
Here we go
46
again,
laps gone.
Now, here
50.
we go again. I'm worried here. Max Verstappen,
Here comes
0.3
Verstappen.
seconds behind this time. He's a lot closer than he was on the previous attempt. First
Here he comes,
DRS zone. He's
Verstappen.
going inside. I think he's waiting for DRS on the main straight, Robbie. I think Max is actually staying behind deliberately to make sure he's right on his tail. It's really clever driving from Max Verstappen. There goes DRS. And I think Max is going to get the job done, unfortunately, here.
Here he is. He is
Light
fast.
work.
Verstappen goes into the lead in the Grand Prix. Verstappen has taken the lead. A great bit of driving.
Oh, he's come off track as well
he's
as
come
Charles
off track there, Leclerc.
Great driving from Max Verstappen.
Great driving by Max Verstappen. He is in the lead of the Grand Prix with 3 laps to go. Brilliant driving by Verstappen.
Great drive.
And this is why he is a champion at the moment. He's brilliant, aggressive driving, brilliant, aggressive overtaking. Still 3 laps to go. Can Leclerc get back at him?
The question is, can Leclerc firstly stay within a second for DRS and then make the move again in the next couple of laps, Robbie? These two have battled it out brilliantly last week and again this week. We're not being robbed of some proper wheel-to-wheel action this year, that's for sure. But this is just what I was calling. As this was happening, saying Max Verstappen has chosen not to go past him. He's used the first DRS zone to get close, and then on the main straight, make it an easy job because he was so close on the gearbox of Charles Leclerc ahead of him. Great driving from Max Verstappen. Credit where credit's due. That is fantastic work from the world champion. Ugh, I hate saying it.
He's the world champion. Oh, that's a bit harsh, Simon. Come on, engine fail. No, we don't want to see that. We don't want to see that. Max is the GOAT, says King Misogyny. Max is the GOAT.
Now, here we go. Charles Leclerc, Robbie. He should have DRS going over that line there. I don't think he's quite close enough to do it into turn 1, but it's just reeling him in like Max did to him in the previous laps. Look at the amount. I love this helmet camera, Robbie, as they ride the curbs. You see how dramatic it is inside the cockpit. Fastest lap, Max Verstappen, so he's now trying to extend his lead and get away from the DRS zone. Charles Leclerc's not letting him do it at the moment. Go nowhere, guys. 2 laps to go. This race lead could still change yet. Unbelievable, Robbie.
And Cian says, never in a million years did I think that Lewis and Magnussen would be battling on pace.
Yeah, now we can just quickly check in with Lewis Hamilton as Charles Leclerc just comes round the corner. We're going to see a move from him. Lewis has made it into P10 for the last points position, but K.mag has got the same tyres. There'll be a battle between 9 and 10 for those last few points. But come on, Charles Leclerc now. We're about to see DRS open for the first time. This is him reeling Max in before we get to that all-important final straight to see if he's close enough to get a move done. I know, though, Robbie, Max is not going to yield the inside. He's going to force Charles Leclerc around the outside if he can get close enough. Guys, with 2 laps to go, this is just what we want to see in Formula One. Let's go, Charles Leclerc. Just too far behind to make a move for this one. Oh, and we've got yellow flags. Oh, dear. Green flag. No, back to yellow. You can't yellow, green, guys. Not here. Not now. Michael Massey's still doing it for Max Verstappen. Somebody's phoned it in. He said, nah, come on, for Max.
That's green flag. The track is clear.
Yeah, isn't it ironic? Only yellow, green, while Charles Leclerc had DRS going down the main straight.
Anyway, we're into the last lap now. So we're going into the last lap.
Last 2.
So last 2 laps. He's got to get the job done. It's
that's why
the Williams.
Alex Albon looks to be out of this race.
Is out. But he's very smartly parked it up in a safety area.
Don't finish under a safety car. We want to see more battles from Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen up top. There. Yeah, it's those high curbs.
Yeah.
It's ripped his car.
No, and he touched the Aston Martin on the inside as well.
I have to say, yeah. I'm not so sure that Lance Stroll's played that fairly either. I think he's got to leave the room there.
I think that's going to...
Oh, but don't give us the final 2 laps under a bloody
yellow flag.
So
I think this is great news for Max Verstappen. Again, the flags are working out for him. Where's Michael Massey now to
That's right, they're on it as well. Magic Massey still waving a spell, says Lily Boy Blue Notes. Lil Boy, sorry. Oh, Robbie, that's not what we wanted. We don't want to see this great battle at the end of the Grand Prix ending in this circumstance.
Mercedes in the mud. Let's go, Max. Love from Glenn. Big up Glenn Farrell.
Yeah, come on, man.
Well, the yellow flag is still out, and it does look like the race is going to end like this.
Final lap. Oh, it looks like we've been given a green, have we?
It looks like they're racing again.
Oh, come on.
No, still yellow flag, he's saying.
Only in Sector 1, so I think they're going to allow them to race in the rest of the track.
Okay, they're racing.
Oh, come on, please.
To get it done in 1 lap, I think is going to be very difficult for Leclerc. It's Verstappen in the lead.
It could be. I mean, if he's got DRS, Robbie, as we get into the final few corners, we could actually see Charles Leclerc do it down the main straight for the win. This could be a photo finish, Robbie.
It's exciting, though. It's been an exciting race.
Max, just lock up. Just give it a little lock up. Nudge the wall, just slightly. Give us something.
Oh, Verstappen's holding on brilliantly here.
Oh, he's crying again, is Max Verstappen. He's saying, how has he got this close to me? And he actually screams, that's so unfair. That's always on the edge, on the tip of Max Verstappen's tongue. It's so unfair.
Bit like how you won the championship.
Well, anyway. Right, you know, you look and go, I don't think Lewis ever said that's unfair. Outrageous. Robbie, this could be a photo finish coming into the final few corners here. Max Verstappen currently in the lead.
Yeah,
Has Charles Leclerc got DRS, though, crucially, as we get round the final corner?
I don't think he'll catch him.
We're going to see it. No, he hasn't.
No, he
hasn't.
Yes,
he has, actually. He's got it, but it's too little, too late.
Verstappen wins
Max
the Grand Prix.
Max Verstappen's going to win it, is he?
Yes. Verstappen has won the Grand Prix. Leclerc in second place. Sainz in third. A great drive there by Max Verstappen to take it near the end. That was a brilliant piece of driving. Sainz in third. Perez, the unlucky Perez, who was leading the Grand Prix up until we had Mr. Latfiy change things again. And Lewis Hamilton all the way down in 10th place. Good drive for George Russell. He finishes in 5th. Ocon in 6th. Lando Norris with a brilliant drive.
Great drive from Lando.
Getting all the way up into 7th place.
He's going for 6th place. Right on the final lap. Come on, Lando Norris. This race ain't over. Let's go, Lando. Can he do it right on a photo finish? Right as we come in? No, he can't.
No, he can't.
Good defence from Esteban Ocon.
So Norris finishes in 7th, Gasly in 8th, Magnussen in 9th, and Lewis Hamilton all the way down in 10th. Zoe in 11th, Hulkenberg 12th, Stroll in 13th, Albon 14th, Bottas all the way down in 15th, Alonso, of course, who had to, well, Bottas and Alonso, they had to withdraw from the race. So that is your winner, Max Verstappen. Great drive.
Do we have to say that?
You got to say, yeah. You got to big him up, man. It was a brilliant drive.
I'm hearing him screaming on the radio like, oh, yeah, nice. Only 2 minutes ago, he was going, that's so unfair, that's so unfair.
It was a fantastic drive by him.
Yeah, it was. Listen, the move that he made, actually, and that was the crucial moment, is we watched him use DRS to not overtake, but get right on the gearbox and then get in for the DRS zone going down into turn 1 and get the move done finally on Charles Leclerc. It's a great drive from Max Verstappen, it really is. You know, and he had to be in it to win it. Let's not forget he's starting in P4 today, and he's had to just bide his time and be in the right place at the right time to strike. And that's what a world champion does. They pick up wins even when they're not necessarily looking like the dominant winner of the day. So
Max, super Max, says Elysium. Antonio says this anti-Max commentating is pathetic, right? So watch it, right? But it was a fantastic drive by Max Verstappen.
Yeah, it was.
Really
yeah,
was.
Listen, he did.
And
he
what it shows is the Red Bulls are back. After last week, they had a nightmare where both of their cars pulled out right near the end, but not this week. Brilliant driving by Max Verstappen. Very unlucky for Perez. Don't forget, he started
really
on pole.
Unlucky for Perez, yeah.
Very unlucky for Perez, but brilliant for Red Bull. Max, says Jimmy May. Wolves F1 says super Max. Anna says Max. The Max Tax says, the Mac Tax says Bob Cricket. Super Max says Anas. Max is the GOAT, says King Misogyny. Super Max says QT.
Look at your latest super
Aston Martin, probably the worst team this year, says JDTV.
You've got a new one as well. Have you got Blue Dabadidas yet?
Blue Dabadi says, Red Bull gives you what Robbie and Posty gives you what Robbie and Posty, Lewis fanboys in the mud. Gives you wings. He's called it at the start of the race. I also said, didn't I, that I think it's
you thought he'd be back and be hot today.
I think he'd be back and be hot, and I thought it could be either him or Leclerc, and it was one of them two in the end. And Verstappen, you can't keep him down, man. He's a fantastic driver. He's got a great car.
Absolutely right.
And he deserved it because he pulled that move, and it was a brilliant move.
Yeah, it was. Listen, and not just that move. You know, he made multiple attempts to try and get past Charles Leclerc. You know, he's looking like a fierce competitor of Charles Leclerc this year for Max. You know, he's not just letting him by, but ultimately he came up with a plan. He executed it perfectly. You know, and from that point of view, that's a deserved race win.
Max showed maturity, says Sia, and that's true. He did show
a
lot of maturity, didn't he?
He really did.
He weren't like he's we've seen sort of in previous years where
he showed, if I can say it this way, he showed driving maturity while still managed to whine like a little bitch on his radio towards the end there. But maybe that's just you know, part of who he is and the character there when
Irish
he's under
Nationalist
pressure.
says Super Max. So fantastic. Come on, Charles, says Atawa. I think what we're going to see, we're starting to see at the moment, it's these two.
Yeah.
It's not Lewis Hamilton at the moment. It's Charles Leclerc.
And, you know, in the pre-season preview on your show, Robbie, you know, I talked about, you know, where I thought that, you know, I mean, Lewis and Max and things might come. But, you know, I said at the time, there's something that tells me that Sergio Perez is going to drop away still a little bit, you know, and he was really unlucky today. But luck plays a big part in Formula One, Robbie. And you look, Max had no business really, you know, but because of how the race went, there was a bit of luck today. And Max, you know, together, combined with his driving ability, has won today's race. You look at Sergio Perez, he did nothing wrong today, Robbie, and he's gone from pole to 4th place. You know, that's sometimes, you know, to be world champion, you need a little bit more than skill. You need the luck to go your way as well.
Super yellow flag Max, says Elmo. Red Bulls gives you wings, Robbie. That's what. Hammer Time gives you 1 point. Posty and Robbie in the mud. I'm a blue Dabadai.
We're getting called out here, aren't we? Honestly.
No, we're big up Max Verstappen. Brilliant drive today. Devin Smith said, looking like a 2-horse race between Verstappen and Leclerc so far this season.
Yeah.
But don't write off Lewis yet. We've written him off loads of seasons when that car, but this car at the moment looks terrible, doesn't it? I mean, good drive by George Russell, but still all the way down in 5th place.
Yeah, Robbie, it's more than the car. Mercedes got something drastically wrong today, and once again, it's down to their pit strategy. And, you know, we started to talk about this last year, and that's something foreign to that Mercedes team. They've typically been very good with strategy, but, you know, they've really let Lewis down today. I get why they stayed out originally. You know, the fact that they were on the hard tyre, they couldn't go for the medium that early. They had to change the compound, so fine. But there was an opportunity there for Lewis to come in, get the pit stop done before they close the pit window. And I'll say it again, Robbie, I'm sat here in London watching on television saying where Danny Rick has stopped and where Alonso's crawling to, that pit lane will close. Kevin Magnussen spotted it. The Haas team brought him in. They changed the tyre. That cost Lewis another 2 or 3 places today. He could have been finishing this race 6th or 7th. Instead, he picks up 1 measly point. You know, and Red Bull are going to look at that and go, that is a result for us. They might have scored 0 last week, but Lewis Hamilton, 1 point this week. You know, it's...
Yeah, Vinny Rowley says Mercedes have a week to, well, 2 weeks, isn't it?
2 weeks now until
2
Australia.
Weeks. Yeah, so 2 weeks, they're going to have to work on that car.
Big time.
There are problems. Rebecca Challenger says, bring on Australia. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, legend, Rebecca.
Cyrus says Red Bull versus Ferrari this year.
I mean, that's how it's looking, Robbie. Yeah, it's a clear breakaway too. Mercedes just don't look anywhere near them. Qualifying and race pace is showing us exactly that. George Russell today, you know, in fairness, based on how the Mercedes car's performing, the 5th place today is actually, like I said at the start of the race, is a really good result for George Russell. You can't ask for him to do really any more than that. It's only the Ferraris and the Red Bull ahead of him. So now it's up to his team to be able to give him a machine that can get him up and disturb the Red Bulls and the Ferraris.
Nickname says Mercedes is the old Ferrari now.
Yeah, I mean, jeepers, yeah.
It's looking at the moment. Where's the next race is? Well, the next race is Australia.
Australia, and guys, if you're in the UK, that is a 6 a.m. start 2 weeks today. We'll be on the stream from 5:30 in the morning.
Bertrand says, I'll be going to the Melbourne.
Oh, come
GP.
on.
Lucky you.
Jealous.
Yep, 6 a.m. on the 10th of April, as Hemal has told us there. Prayers going out to Mick for recovery. 6 cars out, shocking, says JDTV. Well, I don't know, because a lot of those cars that were actually out of the race weren't because they crashed out.
No.
A lot of them retired.
Only Latifi crashed today. Oh no, did we see
Latifi and the other Williams had a crash as well, didn't it?
Albon.
Yeah.
That was more of a collision, I guess. But yeah, and on Mick, I think Mick was at the track today. You know, they couldn't get his car ready, which is the definite reason why he didn't race today. So yeah, it looks thankfully like Mick Schumacher is absolutely okay. No physical injuries. He will be competing as normal in 2 weeks' time. So that's great news for him.
We need a race in Cape Town, says Joshua Quain.
Agreed. That's another one we can go to.
Yep. And Valentina says, until now, Red Bull versus Ferrari. Red Bull to win, I think he's saying there. Leclerc was great today, says Sohel.
It was.
He also picked up a point for the fastest lap. So he picked up an extra point as well.
Yeah. Who did? Leclerc did?
Leclerc, yeah.
Okay, great, because Perez was holding on to that towards the end.
You see Verstappen there,
yeah,
talking to Leclerc. He's all friendly with him now.
Well, I don't know if he's telling him that he might be crossing that white line too much.
Although he's trying to snitch him out earlier on in the race. So that is what it is. It's a very competitive sport. No race wins for Lewis, says Bernie 305.
Nope.
It's a very long way to go, though, isn't it? So
yeah, listen, we're race 2.
I think Lewis, you'll be, you know, and if you're in Mercedes and you're Lewis and the Mercedes team are going to be very, very worried at the moment, because it's not just one team. There's 2 teams now that are far ahead of you. It's not close. They're far ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, massively so. I think, honestly, guys, we're in for such a great season this year. Last year was probably the best season of all time. It was certainly right up there. And that was just because of the ferocity between Lewis and Max, and I guess Lewis and Toto. Robbie, if we can throw more teams into the mix and more drivers into the mix this year, it's, you know, at the moment looking like it's Max and Leclerc, but, you know, is Perez and Sainz going to be in there as well? Can Lewis and Russell, you know, if Mercedes can sort that car out, can we see something from them as well? We could be in for an even better season this year. And so far, by the way, the 2 Red Bulls that got 0 points last week have come back and won the race this week. You know, Ferrari consistently up there with 2 cars on the podium again. You know, it's great.
I'm a blue Dabadi again saying K.mag in front of Lulu. Haas and Merck competing at the bottom.
Well, listen, Blue Dabadino, where I've got to disagree with you there is Haas are absolutely not at the bottom this year, my friend. Let me tell you that. They are going to be, I think, even competing for a 5th sort of place in the Constructors this year. So, yeah, don't be disrespecting Haas. They're on it this year.
And Nemo Rage is saying that I'm feeling Leclerc will win the championships this season. He's got a great shout. Listen, he started off the season well, a 1st place, a 2nd place. It's been a great start.
Yeah, amazing. Can I just say, it's great to see 2 Ferraris up on the podium again. You know, Max standing on the top step, that shows us that we're going to have a competitive season this year, which, you know, we need that as F1 fans. But 2 weeks in a row now to see 2 Ferraris on the podium, Robbie. Pleased to see that.
MTMMCG says it's race 2 out of 23. Relax yourselves.
Yeah, there you go.
And bye-bye Lewis. Bye-bye 8th Lewis. Keep dreaming, says Nick. And Haas replacing Merck, says Elmo.
And that's what I'm saying. No disrespect on Haas's name this year. They are not the Haas of 2020 and 2021. They are here to compete this year, for sure.
Merck will come out strong like they always do. Now, all they always do is it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And that's from Kenio. That's very true. And we saw that last week.
Totally.
The 2 Red Bulls out of the thing now. They're back on the podium after 1 week.
Oh,
Robbie and Matt are crying, says Sean.
I am crying. He looks happy with himself as well. Close up on Max there. And everything I've said in the pre-season build-up about, you know, Max's pressure this year.
I have to say that when you said that in the pre-season, I was like, I had to look at what you've been drinking and that. Because to me, I'm sorry, Max Verstappen is going to be right up there this season. For me, he's the favourite to win it.
Yeah, I mean, he was the favourite going into the season. The fact that Lewis's car's not there means he's got to be the definite favourite, but it's how he handles that pressure. And for me, I can just see that little smile creeping in on Max's face to say, like, thank God I've won this race.
Well,
after last week,
he handled the pressure brilliantly today.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's come through, he's made the move, and like we said, he's basically in his own head written a plan, and then he's gone for it.
From 4th place as well. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
So he's handled the pressure absolutely brilliantly today.
Yeah, big drive from Max today.
Yep. Mercedes have left the group, says Elmo there. Obviously, they've left the group. As Max Verstappen there lifts up the trophy. Congratulations going out to Max Verstappen. And don't forget, guys, we're trying to get Matt's channel to 3,000 subs, right? And we're going to get DR Sports to 200,000.
Come on,
if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe there. Matt, tell them what's coming up later on.
Yeah, come on, guys. Robbie is absolutely joining us. You're sticking around again, aren't you, for the Off-Circuit Post-Race podcast. This is the weekly post-race roundup that we do, where we really get a chance to get into the detail of the highs, the lows, everything in between. We'll be discussing a driver of the day. We'll even do a donkey of the day. Looking forward to having you on, Robbie. You can catch that tonight on the Off-Circuit F1 YouTube.
Yep, if you want to find out who my driver of the day is, my vote for donkey of the day, I've got 2 in mind already, but I'll reveal it. I'll reveal it on the show later on. JDTV spent $1,000 to see the F1 at Melbourne in 2 weeks' time.
Melbourne's a party.
It's not a very cheap thing.
No,
the F1.
Not. No, and it's because it's a full-blown festival. I imagine for his money there, he's got access for 3 or 4 days. You know, you might be staying over. Honestly, I love an F1 weekend away. You've got to treat it like a Glastonbury or, a music festival.
What are they drinking there? Because they can't drink alcohol on that Saudi.
Yeah, they've subbed in like a sparkling grape juice.
Sparkling water.
Yeah.
And notice the bottles have no markings on them, but you have to respect where you are.
Yeah, and of course, actually, no Heineken sponsorship as well there that there usually is on the screen.
Yeah, well, you could,
no drinking
in Saudi Arabia. And you've got to respect that. I'm a blue.
He's back, is he?
He's asking, is it live, the show later on?
No, not live on Off Circuit. No, we'll be uploading that one. It goes on Spotify, it goes on Apple Podcasts for your commute. It'll be out sometime late tonight, but it's ready for your Monday commute.
But you can still find and troll man.
You can troll me anytime, anywhere, my friend. Come on through. In fact, you'll never miss any Formula One action with us. We are live streaming for qualifying for every single race. And if we're not able to be on DR Sports because there's some stupid football game on in the meantime, then you will find a Formula One watch-along on off-circuit as well.
All of the watch-alongs will be covered this year.
Absolutely.
And if they're not covered here on DR Sports, you just jump over onto Matty's channel and he will be doing the watch-along.
Absolutely.
But we will not miss one.
And can I say, guys, by the way, for anyone who joined us for qualifying yesterday, we had our best ever watch along on qualifying. There was like 200 or 300 of you coming through to our tiny little channel, which means a lot. And it's a totally different watch along now. We drink a few beers and a lot more interaction, a lot more chatting.
So make sure you jump onto that week in, week out. The way to do that is to subscribe to Matty's channel right now. Let me just run through once again the race results. The winner of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix is Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. Leclerc coming second in the Ferrari. Sainz third in the other Ferrari. Very unlucky for Sergio Perez because of the what happened with the safety car coming out onto the track. He got forced down into fourth. George Russell, a very good fifth place. A good sixth place for Ocon. In Lando Norris with a great seventh place finish. Pierre Gasly in eighth, Magnussen in ninth, and Lewis Hamilton all the way down in 10th place. Zhu in 11th, Hulkenberg in 12th, and Stroll in 13th place. And the drivers who didn't finish the race were Albon, Alonso, Bottas, Ricardo, Latfiy, Tsunoda, and Schumacher didn't even start the race. He's, of course, was crashed out. So that is the result of it. We're going to be back later on, as Matty said, over on his channel, doing a full rundown of today's race. And also, don't forget, in 2 weeks' time, we're going to be back here with a watch-along. Set your clocks. It's an early one. The race starts at 6 a.m., but we will be here in the studio to do that race. It's a big, big day. So make sure you check it out. Looking forward to that. Can Lewis Hamilton, start to do something this season? And will it be another Red Bull versus Ferrari battle? I kind of think it is going to be, but it's going to be really interesting to see. But congratulations going out to Max Verstappen and Red Bull today. They made a brilliant race and they were the much deserved winners. Thank you. And don't forget to subscribe.
Come on.